Don't you know that GameStop shutting down the lame bots can't even hold a fact-based argument? Don't you know that GameStop's when we're reading lots and lots trying to figure out what dockets meant? In the bankruptcy, yeah, it just didn't seem like we'd be screwed. So you know what to do. Just go and read DD, 'cause tomorrow we'll see some true unwavering conviction come through. Yeah.
Can't stop till they're in trouble. Inflating, diluting, ashamed. Outdated and playing. They're playing a crooked game. But that bubble, it must pop, pop, pop. And your game stop. Let it don't build back on top. As we boom our business to the top. Pop, pop. Ooh, that's a bubble.
Fools can't stop till they're in trouble.
Inflating, diluting, ashamed, outdated. They're playing a crooked game, the past gated. But that bubble, it must pop, pop, pop. And your game stop. Let it pull back on top. As we boom our business to the top. Pop.
The stock price doesn't reflect the fundamentals. Their fundamentals justify the price. Short interest is manageable, retail sentiment waning. No evidence of manipulation. Tits are a normal market function. Meme stocks rally fizzles, ranked by top market makers. Liquidity concerns overblown. Naked shorts constantly deny. They'll settle eventually. Dark pools provide liquidity. Retail investor interest delayed. This stock doesn't trade like it used to. Trading curbs prevent overreaction. Market structure is misunderstood. Stock volatility unrelated to news. Retail sentiment will recover. Options expiration behind recent bounce. No irregular options activity found in audits. Short interest is manageable. 200 FTDs not indicative of pressure.
Share price divorced from fundamentals.
No real sentiment has changed. No real catalyst behind this move. These traders are just going on intuition. Whales might be accumulating at these levels. There are a lot of open questions. The meme crowd is finally bored. Conspiracy theories aren't a viable market thesis. Some investors believe this is healthy. It's a data point, not manipulation. Liquidity conditions remain unresolved. Retail is playing a losing game. Retail steps in again for now. Price action looks a lot like 21. The stock is moving like it did years ago. Sentiment is hard to gauge but is it sustainable? Retail abandoned during downturns. This would have happened anyway. Unusual optimism not yet explained. The price doesn't match the volume. Sudden surge in short covering. Volatility returns as SPY cools. Meme stock run was short-lived. Meme stock after a big earnings beat. Meme stock rally was overblown. Wall Street skeptical of rally. The company raises after winning court case. Meme stock is back again. Retail tracker blew up overnight. The stock is driven by online buzz. The stock is down 80%, but some still hold. Meme stock jumps 38% in pre-market. Retail fails to deliver again. Analysts cut target by 40%. Retail will capitulate. The stock jumped 16% after online buzz. Retail traders add more fuel to the fire.
Shorts are far more sophisticated.
Meme stock investors misled by influencers. This could be the last short squeeze. Why the meme stock rally is different this time. Cautionary tale for the investing world. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Stockholders, share owning, share and care with shares financially. You're a share owner, stockholder. Money represents what you wanna see. Let's talk a little bit about the stock market. Learn to play this game. Been there before. 'Cause you wanna talk the talk, wanna talk about the stock. Invest efficiently. You bought a stock, a share you like a lot. You believe in the future of this company. Woo! Stockholding, share owning, share and care with shares financially. You're a share owner, stockholder. Money represents what you wanna see.
Jump in,
Are you willing to lose?
game begins.
The price you choose,
Money in,
wait and see. Keep score.
of what your trades can be.
Money goes in, buy a share.
That's a trade.
Money goes out, sell a share.
That's a trade.
Stockholders, share owning, share and care with shares financially. You're a share owner, stockholder. Money represents what you wanna see. Trades are not free, you buy it at a price. Too low, too high, well, you gotta think twice. Or 3 times, 4 times, 5, 6, 7, 8. When you like a stock, research is great. Quarterly reports are your new best friends. 4 times a year, sharing information. Cut costs, things can change and rearrange. And prices won't always stay the same.
He's using money to fund the value. Stockholder, shareholder, goodness gracious, beholder. She's holding money in company she believes he's shareholding, stock owning, come holding. Goodness gracious, behold him. He's using money to fund the value.
Yo! Yep, yep. Come on, buddy! Come on, buddy! Yo! Hey! History don't repeat, but it surely rhymes. Market makers tried to cheat, but we saw their crimes. Media says we're crazy, but we got the time to do research and witness. We do it fine, cause we are redefining our understanding. Waiting for MOASS, it's so demanding. Yeah, the choices is yours, what are you gonna do? Sit and watch the world crumble or make your dreams come true. Yeah, make your dreams come true. Yeah, we've got an opportunity, a chance to show that we learned even more than we ever thought we know. Holding those accountable, never letting go. Not selling our shares and it's starting to show. As the cracks are crumbling, cards are tumbling. Yeah, it's time to talk, you will see it here this Tuesday, just 2 days from this post. Oh, the path is clear, the resolution is near. No percolating, not from my side. Both short out of options to run and hide for much longer, stronger than we've been before. We've learned so much, and we're talking for sure. Yeah, we're talking it out. Oh, Devin and me will be live streaming here. So where will you be? Hopefully tuning in, join us to have fun. Cause the great time is now before it's run. Devin is a genius, I'm alright. And I'm telling you now, this talk is gonna be tight. He is super smart, facts and charts, breaking down the facts. It's understanding why the mainstream attacks us. AMC and GameStop are fascinating indeed. So get ready to watch, and you're gonna be pleased. See you there! Yeah, we're talking it out. Yeah, we're talking it out. History don't repeat, but it surely rhymes. Market makers try to cheat, but we saw their crimes. History don't repeat, but it surely rhymes. 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 History don't repeat. 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 History don't repeat.
Hello. Welcome everybody. Okay, I'm so excited to be here. This is my first time using StreamYard, this app website to, host an event. So far going great. The intro video was amazing, and even more amazing is my guest. Welcoming to the stage, Devin. Welcome, Devin. Oh, okay, wait, I can't hear you. So we'll get it figured out. If anyone is watching, like I said, we've never done this before, so we'll get it figured out. Well, I wonder if we need like if I need to be listening to this on a second thing. Anyway, if anyone wants to send in their questions ahead of time, send them in. This is mostly I would say it's mostly for me and Devin because I'm so excited just to talk to Devin and hear more from him. I feel like every time that he and I talk, it's like not A to B, it's like A to C. I always say he always like knows so much. And so our thought was today we can talk about this stuff and make it more simplified for people who don't understand like why we've been so obsessed with these stocks forever. Let's see, Devin, I see you're joining from someone else. Let's see if this works. Oh, that's working. It's totally working.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Totally.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had to switch to my phone for the app. For some reason, it wasn't picking up my mic on the laptop, but no big deal. We can talk like this.
Extremely no big deal. I'm so glad we already solved it. I'm glad this was easy to fix. Devin,
Yeah.
how you doing? So good to see you.
Good. Yeah, I'm doing good today.
Good.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward
Oh,
to trying to
please.
break this information down for everybody in an easy way to digest, straight to the point.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you for being here. Literally, it's amazing. Like I said, you're really one of the smartest people I've ever met, not to set the bar too high. So yeah, I remember too, and I'll just like tell everybody, like me and Devin have known each other a while. We met because we both like these stocks. And I remember you said like, I just was like, Devin, you're a literal genius. And then you were like, well, I just have a tough time making it like simplified. And that's kind of my skill. We'll see. So that was my thought, is maybe we can work together and work together to make some of this stuff easier to understand.
Right. And so I made a document kind of outlining like the broader view of this problem. So then we can just kind of like hit points in it, and you can ask questions where you think we need to talk about.
Yeah, that sounds super great. If you want, I can pull that up and maybe you can tell a little bit. Do you want me to bring up your whole chart?
You can, whatever you want.
I
There's
think
a
people should
visual
see it.
while we discuss it.
Okay, let me figure out how to do that. And maybe you can explain a bit about, really quick, I'll tell who I am. You can say who you are. And while you're saying who you are, I'll pull up your epic chart. And like 30 seconds, I don't really know. I don't know why am I even in this freaking situation. I think I noticed when I was younger / always, I would always like catch on to trends and like things like everything I liked would become popular a couple years later, and then no one would ever give me credit for it. And I'd be like, dude, I was listening to that band a million years ago, or I was knowing about this a million years ago, and not everything. And so I thought maybe if I got into stocks, that would be a way that I would be able to prove my point. And then actually I did really well on like Dogecoin. Like back in the day, I like 40x'd my money. And then at first I was trading to make money. And then we'll get into it when the buy button was removed like 5 years ago. And all this like crime was just like right in everyone's faces. I just like, F all of this. I am not trading anymore to like make money. I'm literally trading to fight. And so I took all my money out of all my mutual funds, everything I had, and I put it into these stocks. And because I know that it's actually like a stab in the Achilles heel of our financial systems. And so, yeah, I just turned my money totally into a weapon to fight back and try to make the world better. So we'll get into more of how that works and what that means. But that's my introduction to myself.
Oh, I have a similar approach, but I do trade to make money. I end up getting into like AMC, for example, back in 2021. So I did write it up with a position that's a lot smaller than I currently have. So yeah, my position has grown a lot since then. But getting into it was weird for me I'm like a musician at heart, and then was taking steps to just pursue that and run my own video production company about it. But yeah, I kind of saw the writing on the walls, and I did finish a business degree at University of Houston, so I was kind of like in the field of where you might learn about this stuff if it was happening. And yeah, I ended up getting in before the AMC moves in 2021, not based on like what they taught me directly at school, but I used a lot of like the statistics and stuff that I learned to understand what was happening. And then fast forward to today, where I didn't think it would unfold this way, and where I would like still be holding this stock and buying more.
Yeah.
But you can look at the graph and kind of what we talk about in this document, and it all will like click, because there's a lot of large forces at play. And yeah, this play has become more of a revolution than just like a average stock trading. And that's why we're seeing very extreme things happen, rather than if you just look back at the market over time. And it's not that extreme things haven't happened in the past, but it's like new extremes today that have been built on past extremes. So while I didn't start as a stock trader, here I am. So that's what is relevant about me to what's going on here. But hopefully I can get back to music eventually.
Yeah. Well, you could be like me and just write a bunch of songs about these stocks. I'm gonna really quick. I want to pull up, like, for anybody. I know you could like really quickly look at this on your own, people, but I want to just really quickly add the stock charts of these. We're gonna be talking about 2 companies mostly, but I feel like we'll probably be talking about 4 stock tickers mostly. But the 2 main ones, and I feel like we should say something like, this is not financial advice. This is strictly entertainment purposes. I'm not a finance professional. Devin is not a finance professional, although I've literally seen him interview for financial jobs, and he's like smarter than the interviewing person, and they won't take him because he's like outsmarting them all. So yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I just feel like we should show these really quick. So there's like, I just took this picture. There's GameStop the past 10 years. Actually, it's kind of like not as dramatic, because like if you actually, I'll pull up AMC. AMC is like kind of hilarious in the sense of there's so many people that are like, what are you guys doing? I don't know. Pretty much everyone I know is like, what are you doing being so obsessed with this stock that's down like 99%? And yeah, I just like, one of my songs that I just played earlier is called like the stock price doesn't reflect the fundamentals. And like these prices, we'll get into it, but they're, I don't know. Do you have any comment on the prices of these stocks right now before we get started?
Well, there's a lot going on. Like for the finance opportunities, for example, a lot of that was like information gatekeeping. So if I drop a thesis on their desk, there's a lot of implications about what I'm saying. And a lot of the current industry isn't set up to handle any of these implications. So that's part of why these stocks have been trading sideways, as institutions try to be prepared for what we believe is coming about these companies. They're kind of at the epicenter of a larger shift. There's a lot of broader market forces, like the macro vision, rather than just looking into these companies. And then these companies fit into a piece of the macro equation that it's changing everything now.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's like, what is that? Like you find a thread and you start pulling it and the whole sweater comes undone. It's like, I think that's what I'm kind of like, I don't know about you. I had no clue. That's what I was getting myself into when I started understanding this stuff. And I really quick, like we'll get into all these. I'm going to pull up your chart here in a second, but I guess I wanted to like ask you, like, what do you think? Okay. So the gist is that back like in 2021, in January 28th, 2021, I remember the date exactly. there was like an illegal move done where basically these stocks were flying up. Like GameStop went from $4 to over 400. AMC went up to like $72. Like they both like all these stocks were flying. And then these brokers where you buy them removed the ability for people to buy. So like dumbed down, they did it super illegal. So everyone could either sell or wait. And so they did like this illegal move in the real world. And what do you think, Devin, they thought would happen when they did that? Like, what do you like? Because this was like illegal 5 years ago. People are still talking about it. What would have happened if they hadn't? And what do you think is the reason they did it then? And what do you think they thought would happen versus all these people staying obsessed for 5 years?
Well, so in January 28, 2021, here, let me see if I can show. I pulled up like a Facebook clip.
Okay, and you can also send it to me if you want. But
okay, it's old, but
okay.
It's like I purchased AMC stock here in January 28, 2021. So
okay.
I'll just read it to you. It says,
wow, the day you bought it, the day.
Yeah, so I bought AMC and Nokia that day when it was like it already went up from like $2 to $22, and then it came all the way back down to like $7. Right. And so I saw the extreme volatility when this wasn't really existing in many stocks, and like this is right when GameStop was going on. I ended up like in a chat room on Reddit trying to search what was happening, and it was just thousands of people screaming about GameStop, like, oh my God, because that's what was happening that day. It wasn't even about AMC that day. It's just.
I'm like, by the way, Dogecoin was going crazy that day too, because I didn't even know anything about AMC and GameStop back then. Like, so I just it was going crazy.
And so while a lot of crypto is based on like fear of money printing and like similar gamma forces in the market, like actual things that happen that would affect stock prices, I think so Elon Musk ended up talking about Dogecoin that day, and then that was the news story behind what was happening. And so like a lot of these cryptos are used as like dark pool collateral, and then so like a lot of laws have changed since 2021 about crypto. So I don't necessarily think they're going to run the same playbook if volatility returns to some of these securities. But I bought these companies, and I would just wanted to show you that post because I said a lot was happening. I was considering these companies, and they're not your average stocks. There's a lot of discussion on Reddit. GameStop stock is untradeable at the moment. And I was using the application Fidelity, and this was right when Robinhood hit the stage. Like that hour is when they shut the buy button down, and kind of the whole media focal pointed on that, and it became a point of like brokerage collusion, especially like with their potential ties to bigger players like Citadel Securities. And then that has a lot of implications for greater banking, because now we have government policy kind of being pulled because of the idiosyncratic risk on the table about.
Okay, pause. Will you dumb down like some of these words really quick if anyone's listening doesn't know what idiosyncratic risk means?
It's kind of like a risk that was introduced, and it's exposing more and more of the market, and it's idiosyncratic because while it's focal pointed on specific companies based on the current market physics and regulations, the leak contagion can't be contained within one company because of the collateral and leverages that banks are in. And they're the most over leveraged.
I feel like idiosyncratic risk means like everything's connected. Like for example, if you have like your electricity bill goes up like 200, 300, 400%, you're not gonna be able to pay other stuff, right? And so like if GameStop's going crazy or AMC's going crazy, it's going to throw off the whole rest of the market, which then ripples effects into banking, which into housing, which into but now they're trying to contain it. Am I understanding that, or not quite?
Yeah, and then as we just print more and more money, their government's going to hide behind inflation while banks are trying to just reorganize their risk over and over. And then now we're seeing that it's too big to swallow. Like they can't absorb a lot of this risk any longer because they run like private books and private exchanges and dark pools, but they have a public ledger. And then so the regulations that exist with the DTCC and the SEC and a lot of those letter alphabet organizations, they have to hit qualifications and follow rules. And then so a lot of the problem is they've been hiding through FTD cycles.
Well, okay. So I'm going to interrupt you really quick again too, because I want to make this all kind of easy to understand. And I think I get it, and I want you to make sure I get it too. So, and this kind of is like 101 if you've been paying attention for the past 5 years, but you're basically saying that like people, like common people like you, me, and then even like financial advisors and like more than common, but not the, financial elite, they get to see a certain set of like books and trades and blah, blah, blah. But then there's this whole second like behind the curtain world of secret trades going on. And that's kind of what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. And then it's just, well, the government will claim it's inflation. It's unwinding collateral at this point. And it's taking a long time because as the market's been trading sideways with current policy, new policy's been introduced and it's slowly kind of kicking this can in a certain way. And then so I explain why AMC and GameStop are on like different sides of this hedge, but still both the broader hedge against based on the risk. And so go ahead.
So how much of like, okay, because I feel like people would literally be like blown away by this comment. But how much of like inflation and like the economy right now do you think is actually the powers that be and the people in charge of money and the decision makers holding down GameStop and AMC from exploding? Like how much of our global financial right now is simply trying to suppress GameStop and AMC?
Okay, unfortunately, like nearly all of it. So there's some companies that are probably not involved. But once a company goes public, it's like, how the Epstein files, like the control factor that was like present and caused like all the stuff because it was like all like blackmail and leveraging people. And so the market works the same way. And in 2008, when the housing market collapsed, that's like the last big public depression that people can just directly relate to, because people that were affected by it are just still affected by it. Like it just changed everybody's lives that was affected, and it had to do with the housing crisis about mortgage-backed securities and fraud. But that it just got kicked farther, and then the problem wasn't solved. So now the problem's just even bigger, and you can look at things like it took 400 years to reach $10 trillion in United States debt. And that's where we're at in 2008. And then just 16 years later, we are hitting 40 trillion in United States debt right now. So it times 4 in just 16 years, and it's going faster and faster now. Wow, it took 400 years. That's like 20 generations of people to get it just to $10 trillion. So I would say it's let off the hook at this point. You can look at all these graphs and just inflation and money printing and Fed reverse repossessions. All these charts just skyrocketed. Like they're just hitting new
okay,
highs.
I'm going to sound like a crazy person right now.
It's setting a new standard for what this market's about to be, because we're looking at fundamental market physics changes that are about to be. Once these changes happen, we're not going to go back. And we got a lot of companies on the precipice right now of this, like crypto regulation and NVIDIA's new technology for their chips. And we see like the RAM prices exploding. And so like that affects a lot of other industries too. And we got like the AI bubble, and that is like backed by the government, and because NVIDIA has like private deals.
Dude, and the crazy thing is whenever they say stuff is backed by the government, you're like, wait a minute, that's backed by our taxes. Like the other day I was thinking about that, I was like, wait a minute.
And we're almost paying for our, like Americans anyway. I'm an I'm in Houston, Texas. So Texas economy is a little different than the United States economy abroad, because we're like at the port here. So like it's probably one of the larger like export and import zones in the United States. And then Texas has like a different history where it like goes back and forth between the United States and Mexico, and then it's like dominantly Hispanic population here. So like,
Wait, but I want to go back. Wait, I want to go back to something like a crazy person though. And there's some movie. I'm trying to remember what. There's some movie where they're like they explain all this stuff, and then they just repeat it again. Like, but what about GameStop? But I'm like, but what about GameStop? So again, I want you to explain like why and how, and then I'll pull up your chart, which I don't think people will be able to handle, and maybe it's really funny too, because like I literally went and broke it down with AI, and then later I learned like everyone being called out funds the AI I was using. So it's like you're using the beast to get back at the beast. But okay, but why GameStop? But why AMC? Again, like why how in the world is this possible that 16 the past six? Okay, so first of all, that's the other thing I keep hearing too, is like that like a lot of what's going on right now and this like waiting for MOASS and what AMC and GameStop are holding back is like the truth and obligations and all this can kicking of 2008 is like problems still from 2008 haven't been resolved. Like, I don't even know how in the world could that possibly be possible. But then also how in the world is part of this 4 trillion, whatever the 4x of the trillions of dollars of debt we're in. How in the world, like, explain
the 40 trillion in debt we're currently sitting at is the United States debt.
Okay, like explain for like I'm 5 or at least 5th grade. Why would these stocks? Why is holding down? How is this happening right now, and how does this make any logical sense? Like, what in the world are these words coming out of my mouth? You see what I'm saying? Like, what's going on here, and why are these companies such a big risk that you would say? And you're not drunk, not on drugs, that this economy is being held to hedge against these companies. These simple, sweet companies.
With the $40 trillion thing, it's like, since the United States, it's the most powerful currency. It's used like in a lot of other countries. So a lot of other fiat paper currencies are denominated based on the behaviors of the US dollar. It's just been around a long time and had a lot of backing, and it's well connected everywhere. So it's the
But what about GameStop?
Is the most.
Okay, but what about these companies? How in the world does this make sense to any? How is this real life?
So $40 trillion, since it's in the United States debt, this is where the whole market abroad now is insinuated, because if the market is operating on collateral rollovers, and now banks are over leveraged like 100 to 1, 200 to 1, 300 to 1, what does that mean? And if we're printing up to $40 trillion in the last 16 years, and banks are that over leveraged, it means somehow through the market or through direct money printing or through private deals or however, most of that money has been retained by banks and the spending power associated with it. So they are pumping their own side of this fight so big to maintain a collateral rollover market. Okay,
and what does collateral rollover mean for someone that doesn't?
It's where they'll like buy options, and that's how GameStop's like traded sideways for 5 years, because they'll be constantly hedging with more and more weight on the banking side of money as there's actual demand pressure pulling the stock up, since people were buying it in 2020, 2018, even for GameStop. Like this started a little bit earlier. Because the legacy shorts go back in GameStop farther than 2018, probably all the way back to 2008. But It's like it started appearing on the graph as cycles rolled over after 2008. Because if you look in 2008, like Volkswagen squeezed, silver went up a lot. Like there was like a lot of things that happened in the next 4 years. So from 2008 to 2012, the market was going through changes, and we saw a lot of new regulations. Like that's when they opened up super PACs and So
Okay,
then,
wait. So basically you're saying like, and I just want to like kind of like really simplify this. You're saying instead of buying the shares, they're putting it off and using other stuff instead. They're using collateral to
yeah, and
fulfill their
they'll use
obligations and push it off. Why? Why and what do they think will happen? How do they think this will work? Everyone will give up if we read enough negative comments on media
right, and then
or
the
enough people make fun of us.
The logic is there for that, at least in 2021, because this has worked a lot of times.
Right, exactly. This has always worked.
Yeah, that like Toys R Us, Blockbuster, Radio Shack, Sears, maybe more lately, Party City, Hooters. Like
They make
all
so
these
much money bankrupting these companies. A select
literally
few.
profitable companies that are just like,
Right.
oh, we can't operate and we can't talk about it, or they just commit suicide instead. So it's like, what's going on here? And now you look at a company like AMC Entertainment, for example, and you got the CEO taking so much flack because the stock price has gone down 99%. But really, he's done a lot of good moves, like fiscally smart moves based on the position. Like, yes, we're holding a large debt load, but then we've built good credit while holding a large debt load and to move the obligations reasonably into the future based on current projections. Like a lot of the financial hit happened in 2021 when AMC was forced to shut down during COVID. So a lot of the debt load it was a temporary problem that caused majority of the debt load. And now that the problem doesn't exist, the debt load can be assessed. And then while we're currently there, the narrative is going to be horrible against the company until further notice, because back what we were saying, Rule 135 of the SEC talks about non-material public information. And Adam Aron, the CEO of AMC, already came out and said he has that. So he
knows some secret that's
about
game-changing enough. He's not allowed to talk basically at all right now.
Right. And so he's supposed to run a company good, and he just can't communicate with anybody legally because the laws are almost set up now to just like let the company die. And then so now that
I'm like, what a lonely job being the CEO of a publicly traded company, by the way.
I mean, he's famous now.
But still, you can't talk to anybody, and you can't freaking talk about anything, and you can't, like, you know.
Well, okay, so on the opposite side of that, GameStop does not have a debt load.
Yeah.
So their CEO can almost just come out and be like, look at my money. Like Vince McMahon walking down the wrestling ring, like, and that's why having a strong balance sheet is so awesome. And
yeah.
So now, if anyone bet against this company, they're afraid.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's going to stop that now.
So,
unless
wait, again, I'm going to go back to my question, but like, what about GameStop? What about AMC? No, I'm saying like, I'm like, maybe if you can like, and then we're going to like, actually, I feel like we've still been introing, and then we'll get into your chart, and then we'll get into like all this. I wanted to like know, like, if you can summarize, like, because I could imagine some people being like, okay, why don't they just let the stocks run? Why are they putting freaking 5 years of negative in sentiment and paying it down and keeping the price down? Like, why, in like the most simple you can, like, why are they keeping these prices down? Like, what is the benefit? Why not just say like, okay?
Well, with the current setup, if they lose control here, the whole house of cards collapses. And it almost should at this point. Like, it's not moral what's happening any longer. While they'll claim in 2021 naked shorting was illegal and they couldn't even talk about it.
Right.
Now it's only legal for risk purposes of the broader market. And then it's like, okay, well, that changed pretty quick. And
yeah, they're selling shares that don't exist, which before they said was not true. And now they're like, okay, it is true, but we're doing it to protect the economy.
Right. And it's always that. And it was the Epstein files aren't about what they are. And then they come out and it was about what they were. And
right.
It's like, okay, well, we see through it. And now we got a bunch of people buying these securities and directly registering them in their name, creating ownership, or not creating ownership, but putting the ownership in our name from the DTCC. That's why there's a big movement for DRS to get your computer share.
Which, like, basically, let's say you go on like Robinhood or whatever, and you buy this stock, then Robinhood owns the stock under your name.
Robinhood
Robinhood owns And then Robin
yeah,
showed.
in the
Just
terms
kidding,
and
that was-
conditions on the brokerages, when you sign up, they can just kind of like go in and sell.
And they
your
can do whatever they
positions for
want,
your
and
own
then
good.
it's like the banks don't have any money. It's like the banks don't have any money, but your account has numbers in it. It's like they can do whatever they want with your shares. But if
Meanwhile,
you
they printed
DRS
$40
it,
trillion.
it's yours. Actually, the other day I was at this place, this nonprofit, and they're in the Chase Bank. They're in a former Chase Bank, and they're like, we keep our shoes in here, because it's for women's clothes. And they're like, this used to be the vault, and now it has shoes. And I'm like, dude, these shoes are probably more value than the freaking vault used to hold, because banks don't have any money in their vaults.
Well, and the fiat currency is rapidly losing value. Like you can look at silver, for example, and deeper into silver, like silver futures based on the percent gains for a little bit of movement. But the mining companies that were suppressed to the tune of the options hedge. So mining stocks just shot up 1,000%. Like look at high crop mining right now.
Silver is such
$50 and held. So
I feel like we need to have a whole nother talk just about silver. And silver is like easier to understand because it's like a physical thing that you can build with and has value and blah 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 blah. Like silver is like a whole freaking.
The banks are supposed
bigger
to
than a rabbit hole.
hold metal reserves that are valuable, like silver and gold, based on the amount of money they print. And then also in that 2008 to 2012 window, they were getting rid of fractional reserves, and now banks hold nothing and print way more. It's off the hook.
But marketing
completely disconnected the market from fundamentals when they were doing that. And that's why since NVIDIA gets majority of its income either directly from the government contracts it has to supply chips to China or other countries, most of the other revenue that's going into that company are coming directly from the other biggest 6 companies like Google and Microsoft, and then all the subsidiaries they own.
Right,
like
and then they're like leveraged by the stocks, and the stocks values based on them, and it's all like a freaking.
So like Meta bought out Instagram, and then Elon Musk went and bought out Twitter. So the same five billionaires just own everything still, and it's like they don't want fiat cash. They want all the assets, so they'll print whatever and just give it to somebody because they know it's going to nothing because they're taking assets in the name of bank negligence. And a cover story where. So now we got things happening like we're going to bomb in Iran, and this is newer news, but you see like oil futures spiking and silver's still on the line, and then even futures.
Silver's not going anywhere anytime soon. Like literally on like a just data. I mean that's at least one thing like I am.
Former Bed Bath & Beyond futures spiked like 1,500% the other day. And
yeah, they went from like 20 cents to like $4, which I don't understand, and we'll get into that later.
It's the leverages. It's like, so oil spiked in price, and there were probably some insiders who knew, and they got leveraged up in the position. And when it exploded, very unleveraged banks who weren't ready for that, and so maybe they're holding the legacy Bed Bath & Beyond, and so that like it's a collateral pumping shit show. And Bed Bath & Beyond is a special case because a lot of these companies go into like zombie stock territory. And true Bed Bath & Beyond got delisted and is just gone right now. So it's like one of those.
Dude, Bed Bath & Beyond is so fascinating and amazing and insane. Even the facts of today.
Like company of Overstock.
Of Overstock, which has freaking Patrick Byrne, who is fighting all this.
Like
he was the OG fighting this.
And also implies that they have warrants issued about the company right now, too. While AMC is holding high crop mining warrants. And GameStop has issued warrants for $32. So with the $32 strike,
the ability to buy a stock at a price or something.
All of these companies are holding these warrants because it's been a futures leverage game, and it's like how they were using crypto as the dark pool collateral up until Bitcoin finally got regulated, and now they can't use it as a hedge, especially since GameStop bought some. So if they pump Bitcoin, GameStop gets pumped.
Right.
So now they're abandoning that as the play, and they want everyone to buy their Bitcoin right now at all-time highs. Well, it's already crashed a good amount from its all-time high, but it's still just 100% move away from its all-time high again. But the way Bitcoin moves, it would be extreme like that. And then we're seeing the most volatility ever threaten the market right now as it currently exists.
Okay. So I feel like, yeah, wait. So what are you saying now? Like, okay, Bitcoin, they can't use to leverage it. We'll get into your chart like literally in a second. But I don't want to kind of cut through anything you're saying first, and then I have like a million questions. So this will just be like, we can go talk as long as we want and then maybe talk again sometime. But what do you feel like they're using now to hedge against letting these stocks run? And then like again, it'll be like a domino effect, because there's all the ways that like the stock market works, where like you set these future bets and you like, if this price comes in, then this ETF has to start buying and this mutual fund has to start buying. And then as it gets more expensive, all the, hotty-toddy guys will actually go like, oh, maybe these companies are valuable. And then they start putting in millions and da-da-da. So, right, it's like this ripple effect of like, once it's cool, it only gets cooler. Like, that's why everyone's freaking buying NVIDIA, even though it's the all-time highs or whatever.
Okay, is there any way you should pull up the chart I made?
Okay,
I
get ready.
And,
okay, this is crazy, and I feel like I want to like put a link of how people could see this if they want. But you have it on YouTube where you literally like broke this down for hours and hours and hours. Oh wait, it says only visible to me. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Is there any way? Can you zoom in on it?
A
part of it. I'm asking a lot from a new app.
I know. I'm like, give me a break. I don't know. Oh, you know what? I'll take a screenshot and then I'll pull it up as a new file. So what do you want me to zoom in on?
Okay. So zoom in on the dark red, the top half of the leverage instruments section.
All right. You got it. I'll do the top half. Dude, we are bringing it. This is like some of the craziest stuff ever. Like, I just feel like we're living in the craziest time where people are actually talking about like I can't believe we're actually talking about this stuff.
Okay, so you can get rid of all the. Well, I mean, I guess if you can read that. I just wanted to point out. So in the leverage instruments, columns are vertical, correct? Sorry, I'm having like a.
Give me a break, right? Yeah, columns.
I don't know which one. Rows are horizontal and columns are vertical.
Yeah.
Okay, so columns.
You're doing great. I'm doing great.
With the leverage instrument that says leverage instruments on the top.
Right.
The column right next to it says additional.
Additional,
So in leverage instruments, if you go down, it's like the top box, which is like the blue inflation line, and then like 5 of a darker red, and then it goes down to like a lighter red, but it's still darker than most of the chart. So
we'll call it pink.
You see where I put the blue symbols? I had one in arbitrage.
Yeah, like
FTDs, payment for order flow, spoofing, and then a little farther down, seller boxing and dark pools.
Oh yeah.
Those are leverages I already directly identify with GameStop. So there are 6 magnitudes of leverage that I already just highlighted here being used against GameStop, and you can look at the details.
Explain that again in like the dumbest way you can. Like you're basically like in an analogy form. These are ways they're keeping the price down.
Right,
legally,
and then so look at the same
legal?
column, and the little gold coin you see on the line of arbitrage in green on the top.
Yeah.
And it has the blue thing and then the coin.
Does that stand for Bitcoin?
If you look at the coins in the column, I have arbitrage highlighted, brokerage collusion, tokenization, altcoins, mirror stocks, seller boxing, and dark pools, where I've identified those with AMC already. Those are direct leverages that we have seen in the company. There's also GameStop, a lot of these. So like mirror stocks, there's like AMC, and like what was the other one? IGME. There're just so many like wannabe tickers.
Pick one of these and explain. Like, pick the one that's most simple to explain. What are they doing? Is it legal? I mean, is it legal on the surface? Because probably all this is illegal in some way, but I don't know. Whatever. Maybe it's not allegedly.
Well, so if Citadel is buying the right to front run orders, for example, on where they get the microseconds ahead of all transactions, and then it's run by an algorithm that will execute trades for their benefit as a market maker, which is already a conflict of interest. But say they're doing this, so that's where they'll have scalping opportunities. They can.
Right, and I really want to say like an analogy, almost like it's like someone is sitting and watching a basketball game live, and then they're there live, and then there's like a lag on the TV, and then they're like making trades with people watching it on TV, even though they have a few second advantage, and then they keep busting everybody out of their money. It's like, how'd you know? It's like, I don't know, but actually it's because they're like time traveling into the future a bit, and then they have all these like algorithms, so they're able to like nonstop know know what's happening before anybody else and then cheat it. And they even wrote a book. I'm like, by the way, they even wrote a book about it called Flash Boys. And that book pissed me off. And I told my financial advisor at the time it pissed me off. And he was like, why? And I was like, because they're cheating. And then he didn't get it. So anyway, right? So basically they're like ahead of, they're basically time traveling. They will cheat all this.
Well, it started.
And they run it.
If we started with a rational market of supply and demand, we probably never did. It was probably close, and it will get close again as the market cycle happens, even though this one's going to be wild. So if we look at this arbitrage line, it's happening more and more faster and stronger because, like, while it started maybe more supply and demand focused fundamental economy, if they allow a little crime to make sure it stays that way, it's like the nature of crime grows because they have to hide things and then create new crime to hide it and then hide that. And now it's so big, just like there's no morals left in the market. So like, that's why we were looking at where a reset has to happen. And then there's a geopolitical connection where that's why we definitely need war right now, because they need an excuse to put a bunch of money and fix stuff and move collateral and take out some people, and it's a complete shit show, for lack of like better terminology about it. And so that's why a lot of these social events and news stories and the sentiment, it will like almost directly reflect the market happenings now, like whether it's in a symmetrical or asymmetrical way. It's like we're always because they're socially hedging against sentiment while they're hedging against risk in the market. And so
wait, explain that a little, like because I think that's what I'm understanding too, is how the market right now, like the whole market is based off of social sentiment, is based off of emotion.
Adam Aaron isn't allowed to talk
like
about
Gossip
his company,
Girl.
which is almost hypocritical when banks are allowed to just print a shit ton of shares and like destroy the company. So like, it's when that shouldn't even be happening. Right,
they can just print a bunch of.
That's why they're going to get kicked
limited
in the
edition
teeth for it here, because we caught him. Like, Adam Aaron hasn't actually said anything, but he did an interview where his pants fell down, and the naked shorts, dude. Like, they're done. We know naked shorts. Yeah, you saw that news anchor Melissa, whatever. Like,
right, Melissa Lee.
Her,
right.
You can't hide emotion sometimes, and like.
Yeah.
Her slip up on public television or whatever, she became a hero to a large group because like her reaction proves
that she wasn't supposed to say that.
There was a narrative. Yeah, and she accidentally stepped on the narrative and then like realized it and panicked. Like you can just see it on her face. Like, because she said naked shorts in 2021 before it was even on the news. So
yeah. Live.
This is like where they're hiding the narrative. So then they can't even hide the narrative there because it was exposed. And so a lot has happened. There were GameStop people going on the Gangnam style comments at YouTube because they're like, they won't remove the most viewed YouTube video. They did. They removed it.
What?
They won't let. There's re-uploads of it now with not a billion views, but like it's just.
By the way, let me explain this to anyone that doesn't know. This is so freaking funny. I can't believe it. But there was like, well, I'm not trying to hype it up too much. It's not that funny. But basically, like, the idea was like I feel like, yeah, there was a time that like everyone was online all the time, hyping it up. It's because no one expected this to take so long. And so everyone was just like, yeah. Like, had the hype and the stamina. And they were like, live streams and different like platforms that would get shut down, and groups on Reddit that shut down. Everything kept getting shut down, and even since then, Reddit is freaking publicly traded now. And
it's just moderated, so
moderated like crazy.
Can't even like, dude, I can't post in the Super Stonk, which is the GameStop forum, like at all. They're like, oh, you mentioned You said
Yeah,
the
they're
word
like,
short,
oh, that's
so
a
you
rule.
can't
Like
post
they
it.
shut down
Like,
everything.
oh,
They
you
shut
said
down
the word.
everything. The Bed Bath and Beyond pre-bankruptcy one got shut down. Everything got shut down. But anyway, the idea was like okay, like the bunker, like if everything got shut down and nothing was working and you couldn't
Well,
communicate to the live
bots
stream,
too.
go
It's
to
like
the chat of Gangnam Style because it was the #1 video. And so the whole chat of Gangnam Style, like every now and then
just
stuff would go,
GameStop
it's down, it's
comments.
down. Everyone go and chat on the freaking Gangnam Style comments.
Right.
It was amazing. It was so amazing. I did that a few times, but I can't believe they brought it down. They really brought it down.
Oh, I'm not surprised. They're taking everything down. The Google search results now, it's like 10 years ago, I could search and it would be like, you've pulled up 1.1 million pages of results. You want to go through them? And now it's like, here are 2 pages of results.
Right.
Like, so it's like, it's so filtered, like everything. And like, while
it just makes me so
scrubbing
mad
the
because
internet, and then
I'll tell people
letting
like look into
bots
this stuff, and then there's freaking no way to learn about any of this stuff. Like unless you know how to ignore all comments.
Well, these big banks and private companies will have they'll just pay people to develop bots that will just
Right.
run through forums and bash everything, and that
And,
while sentiment is monitored and moderated, so it's like they're just restricting the public talking at all times. This is on top of
Because
they
it's
tried
so-
to mask everyone up and shut us up for
Because they're
COVID.
gonna lose so much money and lose so much credibility and blah 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 blah. But at the same time, like it has to happen, right? Like it has to happen. And we'll kind of get into more of kind of questions and blah blah, or more of your chart. But like again, I want to keep going back to this question of like, doesn't something have to eventually give? And also like it's easier like for us, I'm just holding shares. And I've really lowered my expenses, like 99%. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I can do this freaking for a few more decades. I can wait and wait and wait. But for them, every day, it's costing them. They're putting it off. They're doing this. They're doing that. Blah 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 blah. Like what's going on? And then at some point, like AMC sure is like struggling, but it's surviving, which is like epic because it's holding in all these obligations. But
right. AMC's
GameStop
surviving, and it's already
is going to
been through a
become
lot.
undeniably thriving.
They diluted with the 8 unit, they're printing shares, and then that's what the market will claim forces the price down when it's actually like heavy leverages. And so you can look at so Netflix, for example, their stock price since 2021, where AMC went down 99%, they're up 10 times in stock price. But so is Robinhood and Reddit, like all the companies responsible for screwing everybody, just went up a lot. You should have just bought those companies.
Right,
blah,
blah, blah.
Yeah, and it's
But they're all
horrible
cheating.
because,
No offense, allegedly.
And that was
Slash
part of the
provably
front
so
that they're like, AMC's gonna die. It's okay if we use this leverage right now because we're gonna fix it. And then AMC not gonna die. So now there's the whole even harder. And so I canceled all my subscriptions too. I don't have Netflix anymore. None of that stuff. And
Amazon out.
Yeah, none
Netflix
of it. And
out.
so
Regal theaters, you wish.
I've been buying and holding this AMC too because now the shares are so cheap for what I thought their value.
That's
really,
the thing. That's
changed.
the thing.
The thesis didn't change.
It's like you're in between a rock and a hard place.
And then it's
like so cheap.
Yeah, and that's good and bad because I didn't think I'd be able to load up with this much of a position about it. But then also, it shows how bad this is. It's gonna be violent for a lot of people when
explain that more simply.
Type of moves happen. It's like GameStop in 2021. If it really went from $2 to $500 in a couple weeks, and then that shook the market this hard, and it didn't even start covering yet.
Right.
I wrote another paper talking about the price points that potential based on the statistical analysis of the trends over time and the company's history, and I pull everything in, and then so I've determined that based on the amount of short leverage, it's been exposed. They did short interest glitches. They have failed to deliver cycles, reg show timing. So we can,
just for fun, let's go through what a couple of those things mean. For example, failure to deliver is when you owe showing market makers that you have stocks and then you fail to show it. And so then if you do it enough days in a row, you get put on the reg show list. But then the reg show list is actually like nothing because it turns out for freaking 5 years they didn't do anything when you like go ahead.
It's like Microsoft.
Like there's so much crazy stuff where they like say there's rules, but they don't follow through with them.
All passing around the same $100 million. So they all claim they have $100 million, but really it's only one that they share. And then they use this $100 million. It's bleeding. This money is bleeding because it's all hedged against stuff like GameStop now.
Right.
So the government has to come in and pump money into Nvidia and create a narrative
and then like apparently
inflation
like
cover.
One, everyone owns everyone and everyone works together and they all are like, you know, like freaking like holding each other hostage. And then two, not to, you know, be too kind of like whoa, but isn't it like a lot of these people that run this stuff are on the Epstein files too?
But
and
also,
so they're
like,
all
the
freaking
housing
blackmailed.
Market has completely priced out a generation since 2008. It's like, how did the market collapse? And now houses are just like way more than ever. And it's like, that's where inflation is. So when you hear inflation and then maybe Donald Trump will go like, oh, gas prices are low, the market's good. While like, it's just mass layoffs for profitability from all these big companies. And it's just to maintain their books. And if they're all sharing the same $100 million to report on their books, like Facebook will report its earnings and have that on their books. And then as soon as they make the report, they hand that money off. And then they're good for a while until the next check. And then the other company has their earnings and report it. And then they're good. And then they hand it back. And so they just all like are good on paper as
right.
Like,
and then they also can't like do too much investigation because they own each other and then they know each other. And then they don't, you know, it's like,
yeah,
it's
and
like,
they're all friends. And
exactly.
This is how the market has been operating. So it's almost like, it's not like they're just like, oh, we're so evil, we want to take over the world, even though that might be an element with some narcissists involved. But it's like a lot of these companies are just operating on the momentum the market already has. So it's a tough spot because it was caused by like specific players who were like over leveraged in specific companies. For example, Citadel and GameStop. So now, since then, Citadel's gotten a lot of bailouts and done.
Wait. And for example, like Citadel has like an amazing reputation up until this, and now they're freaking a B++ or something, which is like actually an F.
Right, and it's just going down. It's the pattern because the next stop is junk bonds. So like if they're that close,
so it means like what we're doing is working. It's just like a lot of people are impatient. And then if you're watching the freaking mainstream news, they're like, oh, GameStop. Oh, here's another meme stock. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Another meme. It's like, dude, there's still meme stock. Freaking GameStop is still GameStop. AMC is still, there's no new, this still hasn't been resolved.
In 2021, when I was like, I fully understood all this and it dawned on me.
Which is insane. How did you know all of this?
But I didn't know all of it. Like the psychology part.
All I knew was like vibes. I was like, something seems like it's going on.
I found the opportunity and I was like, whoa, this could change everyone's lives. I should tell people. And then like,
true.
I just get shit on by the media about it and people believe that instead. And
right.
That's like 90% of people. So then now it's like, oh,
99.99.
Not everyone can understand this opportunity and come with. It's just not possible. The propaganda is too strong right now. And so like now I'm just like kind of like doing my own thing over here.
Yeah, I don't talk to anyone about this because I'm like, oh, whatever.
And it's not that I don't want to, but it's like,
exactly.
Man, we just get hit with the middle finger about it everywhere. So like, and it's all part of it. The psychological thing, like right now, oil just exploded. And then I had like one of my coworkers come up because they know I do stocks and they're like, oh, oil just exploded. We should get that. And I'm like, no, it just exploded. Now it falls. Like, I don't know how it works. Look, buy AMC. It's all the way at the bottom right now. You like buy at the bottom and sell at the top.
But that's not financial.
No,
I'm just saying it's literally at the bottom.
But
it might go lower.
Person like just didn't buy silver. Like, you know what I mean? Like how like. The psychology is a hard sell on a lot of this because
totally, like, and you know that's the other thing too. Is like not
like every hypocrite. I'm becoming what I hate, even playing this game at this point. Like,
don't make it. But wait, I was
not
gonna say
that I'm like
for some people
doing illegal stuff, but it's like now that I understand the psychology, it's the market works the way it does for a reason, and why after this happens, it's going to return this way, and we're going to have more problems in the future. The cycle eventually happens again. World War III is going to be in like 2100, because like every 80 years we just have the war. Like we had COVID-19 in 2020.
No, or the freaking
World
age
War
of
II
all
in
these million
1940,
shareholders.
the
No,
Civil
no,
War
no,
in
no.
1860,
Wrong.
independence from Britain in 1780. Like it
The
just
world has
every
to
80
change.
years.
The world has to change. If all these freaking normal people, you, me, the millions of shareholders, make all this money and able
It's
to,
four
can't the world
generations
change? Come on.
between each war, because like if your average family has their kids around
world's
20 years
changing.
old, some early, some later. Like some kids are born when their mom's 15, but some are wait till like they're 30. But if you take a 20-year average, and each generation, a strong generation creates a strong environment,
I was gonna say weak.
which creates a weak generation, which creates a weak environment. And then the weak environment creates a strong generation again. And then the whole cycle repeats every 80 years.
Yeah.
And we're at the part now where
We're weak?
we're a strong generation in a weak environment. So we're
Yeah.
about to make a strong environment. But it takes, like we thought in 2021 buying it was going to be a quicker thing. Well, a lot of apes did, and then a lot of apes are still here because it's a process. There's a lot of unfolding to be done, and it's happening. Like we talked about AMC still surviving, but a lot has happened since then. Like they did a whole reverse stock split while GameStop did a forward stock split.
Let me go back to my last question that was from a while ago. What do you think they thought would happen when they did those illegal moves and removed the buy button? Do you think everyone would be like, oh, no?
No,
okay,
I think at that point,
I'm just going to move on now.
They already knew they were going to be in court. Shit hit the fan for them that day. They already knew it. They knew this was going to be a long thing. FTX collapsed a little bit later.
But they figured they'd be able to find a way to get out of it. Probably.
Yes, right then they already knew. Wow, the next 10 years are going to suck. And as they just still are doing all the steps that have been unfolding here, and then the Robinhood being like 10x its price since then, it's a psychological thing, because if collateral rollovers is the name of the economy and we're setting up new fundamentals, it's not sustainable. So however time they're buying right now about it, that's why the money, we're at 40 trillion US debt now. They have to print more and more and more, faster and faster. So probably either like the market's going to trade sideways again for a year, but then the United States debt's going to have to like double again. So we're going to 80 trillion next year to maintain this, or it's finally going to collapse. And I won't be surprised if they just double it to maintain it. And I'll buy more AMC and GameStop shares while that's happening, if that's how they want to play this, because it's the gold rush. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if government puts a bill on the table like it's illegal to hold AMC and GameStop. We're going to come take it all. And like they did with the gold rush in 1933 after the market collapse in 1929, which just led to World War II. So this is all, if we think World War III is here yet, dude, ICE raids and bombing Iran is just the beginning. Like Trump said, the war is already complete. Like, no, dude, oil just spiked. Silver's not even done going up yet. Just so banks are ready for when these other securities explode. Like, and the cycles are coming. Like we've already seen GameStop almost go through like 2 cycles. The cycles are getting smaller and smaller. Like the 5-year graph looks like the daily graph, like every other day, because it's like the algorithm pumping.
There's 10-year. I'll hold.
Like repeats. So you can see like, so this is like all the market graph will represent, minus the private books, but it's like the arbitrage and then company fundamentals. And so this is where you plug in, since the market's disconnected from fundamentals now, these market forces like gamma and the negative or beta and delta, all these forces become the macro forces, even of micro companies like GameStop. It's just like if you look at GameStop as its own company and then as a part of the whole market. So we're looking at if the whole market now is under like one algorithm. So if Facebook has a bad day or whatever, some bad PR comes out and some people sell the stock, a lot of people holding that company now, it's like almost like legacy market. It's going to be like 401k accounts and like a lot of like older groups like that have like blue chip portfolios. And That's why, like, there's even the stereotypes like, oh, this is boomers versus millennials or whatever. But no, it's rich versus poor. But they're gonna want it to look like anything that it's not. So it's like black versus white, men versus women, old
The
versus
vision is the
young,
key to
until
freaking
farther
distraction.
Right, and that's seen in the socio-political part of this and in the market psychology. So it's just everything
And if more
stinks like
people
shit
started,
now. So that has to be what is under the rug.
right? Because if more people started kind of like understanding this narrative and moving their money, it would really ruin a lot of it. Anyway, the more they can keep people going like, what, you crazy meme stalkers, then the more that they can keep the money where it is and keep funneling and waiting and waiting. And what do they think's gonna happen? I mean, I'm like, what the F are you talking about? Freaking making it illegal to hold AMC and GameStop, and like that. God. So I feel like there's a lot of outcomes, and we'll let's get to that. But do you want to go? I'm like, oh, I don't even answer any of this yet, or do. But I'm like,
I'm not like afraid of that. If that happens, we'll figure it out.
Storm the SEC.
Oh, well, we're already doing stuff like that, and it's
I
just
know.
no problems were ever solved without violence. And so that here we are, like bombing Iran. It's like this is starting now. It's like the leverage has gotten too bad. They didn't have another choice. They got to ramp up war.
Wait, are you saying like Bitcoin was a way to leverage it, and now this freaking war is a way to leverage all this stuff?
Well, yeah, because war gave them an excuse to print money, and Trump can just be like, oh, martial emergency, maybe we can just take everyone GameStop, or and not that that's probably the direct plan, but it's like now they can do more unprecedented things. Like COVID was unprecedented at the time. They're probably not going to try that again the same way, because they took a lot of flack for it, and that's still in litigation. So as they run these plays, then they have to remove them from their playbook, and then that's why GameStop became an idiosyncratic risk, because if they're recycling plays throughout their playbook, and now GameStop is eliminating play after play after play that they're able to do,
right?
They know they're going to run out of plays.
Duh, schemers.
And then at the meanwhile, GameStop's like, oh, we're going to just 10x our current value soon,
right?
Whenever we want to, but we're not going to tell anybody when, and we're excited about it. And we have a lot.
And then
of
AMC
money.
has some top secret that Adam Aaron isn't allowed to talk about,
Okay, and that's because of how this market's hedged. I was telling you, GameStop
and then
did a forward
back.
split, while AMC did a reverse split. And so they went if they were on an equilibrium. So now we're talking about delta hedging. If banks have to make their books equal zero, or whatever,
right.
Facebook's 100 million, lend it back and forth. And then
it's like lame versus awesome, by the way. I'm like, oh, Facebook's versus freaking this revolution. Okay, go ahead.
So this is like a broad market thing where market makers have to hedge the whole market to keep it from exploding or imploding.
Right.
And they're doing a bad job now because they got all kinds of bubbles inflated everywhere. So now they're trying to not hold a market based on fundamentals, but a market with a lot of bubbles in it. So it's not balanced, not shaped right. It's hard to carry. If you view it in a physical image of what I'm talking about. So then if you had that line, and GameStop does a forward stock split, and AMC does a reverse stock split, and they're both in a basket that's leveraged, it's going to pull that basket very hard.
Now
that's what's happening now. And now broader.
When you start talking like that, I'm like, what? Basket, I kind of hardly understand. I don't know. Can you explain some of this stuff more simply, and then we'll go back to your chart. Oh, and I wanted to ask one more question on this, but explain as much as you can. What does basket mean? It's in sort of a.
It's like an ETF. It's where banks will go group.
It's how they're handling it
together. They're it's cat shit wrapped in dog shit. You've seen the movie The Big Short. It's oh, we have a company that's failing. It's called Dog Fart, and then we have GameStop, for example. This is just a hypothetical example, but then say GameStop's doing good and Dog Fart's failing, but banks bet on Dog Fart. So then they're gonna put Dog Fart in an ETF with GameStop, and then they're like, oh, you can buy GameStop Fart now. And then if enough people buy that money just gets moved into Dog Fart, and Dog Fart lives based on GameStop saving it. And then market makers will hedge baskets all day long to save companies they want and put pressure on companies.
Right. That makes more sense. Although the fartness of it is, not classy for me, but Hold on. Explain now how this split reversal one's GameStop's doing this, AMC's doing. How does that throw them off? Because it just throws me off talking about it. But what does that mean?
The split part.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
when
yeah.
AMC did a reverse split, it should have also went up. Like both split mechanisms would raise the price. Like the forward split cuts the price actually. So GameStop should have went down and AMC should have went up, because the reverse split would make the price go up because the shares get less. But GameStop shares increased and the price went down.
Right.
Because of the increase in shares. It times 4 amount of shares. So the inverse, like negative times 4 or divided by 4 of the price of the shares. But on the other side of that, if you increase one, it's always balanced. So if you make more shares, the price move the other way, and if you make less shares, the price move the other way.
Right.
And then so when they did their splits and GameStop's price went down and AMC's price should have gone up with the reverse split, it actually went down because AMC issued the
Ape dividend?
Ape unit. Yes. And then so while the leverage would have went up for the reverse split, they diluted with the Ape unit at the same time. So market makers were actually able to hedge that and maintain the stock trading sideways. And that was really good for AMC's credit, because now lenders know AMC is going to do what it takes to survive.
Right.
Even in the midst of a reverse split and Adam Aaron.
Right. It's like they'll put surviving over shareholder value, which is shareholder value in the long term.
Investing shouldn't even be about buying into companies to survive. It's just
right.
What we realize now based on some of all these implications.
I don't mean to. Well, I'm like, before we get it, because I feel like I brought this up a few times and you brought it up to me, and for me, I'm like, what? So from what I understand, the fact that AMC like 2 years ago did that Ape dividend and then tied it back in, it's somehow now locked in all these obligations that have
because
screwed them over. So like, explain that as like dumbly as you can.
Because like for AMC example, the
only way they'd get out of it is if it goes bankrupt, and it's not going bankrupt.
GameStop was able to sell a ton of shares and make a lot of money.
Right.
So that AMC
literal billions.
Wasn't able to do that because voters voted no to dilution. So they weren't about to get the same opportunity. And
that was back in the day that there were planted YouTubers telling people to vote no.
Well, and
allegedly.
I voted no at the time. Because
I don't know. I didn't understand enough. I was just watching people on YouTube that have turned out.
And I accept that there were things that I didn't understand about it, but it was like market mechanic wise, the narrative's still the same.
Yeah.
It's a large short position against the company. None of this matters. It's just the game until it happens, because market physics in action.
But something about them issuing that, then locked, like it like they went out, tied them in, locked them in, and now there's some.
They have to actively manage this situation now, because
they're tied in.
10 million people around the world figured this out and bought into these companies, and then that's about how many people are involved, because like both AMC and GameStop's companies came out in 2021, and Adam Aaron directly said, like, 4 million apes hold 80% of this company right now. And
right. But then institution owns 40%.
So I have increased my position by over 40 times since then. So, and that matches short interest glitch numbers. There was a 4,000% short interest glitch where all the numbers said like 99999999999 on AMC. I posted it on my Reddit. Like, you can go back through my posts and see like the screenshots and stuff in there where Robinhood shut everything down and Fidelity like backing them and like, all kinds of stuff. I was calling them infidelity that year because the whole thing's rotten. And so back to hedging, when
thank you.
When their splits happened and then the Ape unit happened, and then what it did to the delta hedge, like the broader market hedging of all of it, and like they're manipulating both of these in all kinds of baskets, and like imagine both my hands with a lot of strings connected to them, and like it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And so now we have from the 5-year, if you like look on those graphs, GameStop's still up like 85% since its $2 price in 2021 or 2020, right when it started, the bottom there, right at the low. It's still like 85% higher. And AMC though is now like minus 99%.
Dude, it's
and now we're looking at the logarithmic data, because this is how leveraging works. They're going to compact derivative layers of magnitude into each other. And that's where the graph I was just showing you, the blue things and the coins, FTDs, it creates pressure one way. Payment for order flow creates pressure one way. Spoofing creates pressure one way. Seller boxing, dark pools, and then so now it's, if that much pressure is on AMC and GameStop is on the opposite side of the hedge, because both companies did splits locking in short positions. So now whatever baskets they put them in, they're getting shredded because companies are going the opposite way on the delta hedge. So Adam Aaron's being smart, even though he's not saying anything, because he needs, if he's setting up a bear trap and there's a lot of people buying in at low prices, he needs it to hit almost bankruptcy so it looks like scary. And that's what was happening right now. So like for the delta hedging, these are going to have to come back to zero on the bank side. And
that doesn't make sense to me what you just said though. Like I still don't get that.
It's because zero has to equal zero on the bank's books.
Right.
Otherwise it's like treason, and there's a lot of implications and rules that manage, like market makers and banks have to have like their books right.
So can't they be making money like shorting AMC right now?
Okay.
Because it keeps going down?
Yes, only like recent positions if they're like buying and exiting, but then when they sell their position, it would increase the price. So what happened is legacy shorts have been locked in now for this whole time, and they're paying interest on a bleeding position to the tune of billions of dollars now.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's why they're freaking printing.
They can't close because the price would start going up before their positions fully close, and then to buy a higher price, and they just can't. It's not possible.
It's like a brotherhood agreement. Like you don't close, or else they'd all get screwed over. So now they're waiting. What do they think's going to happen? What do they think's going to happen? Well, like they're ever going to get out of this, or some freaky thing where no one's allowed to hold AMC and GameStop? Or
yeah, because if they want to just print more money to like outweigh the problem, but then we keep just buying more and more.
Right. What the heck?
Can't do anything. Like it's like, and we shouldn't be having to buy more and more. It's like that's not a healthy market. And it's like, but I can't have faith in any of these other companies. Like AMC could times 7,000 of its own price right now, and it's still gonna be worth less than Nvidia. While the market would be like, buy Nvidia, it's the future. And while it's just worth more than anyone ever, it just doesn't make any sense. So it's like, what in the sustainability is going on? Because there's no way. They're talking about, okay, if AMC price just doubles tomorrow and it goes up 100%.
Right, to $2.
It's going to be like a delta hedge, a market-wide thing, very small. It's only a $600 million company. But then they're talking about like, oh, buy Nvidia. It's going to double tomorrow. It's what that $5 trillion that would have to go into that company just to double it again. Like there's no room for growth in this thing. Like it is so packed full, inflated. Like I'm surprised it's just still that high. The bubble hasn't popped yet, but it's like, I'm not surprised when I look at like, oh, we're like bombing Iran and like printed $30 trillion. And it's like, oh, of course it's still that high like right now. And it's like, that's why we have to either print 40 trillion again, or this thing finally comes down. Like, and even less time. We have to print $40 trillion in less than 16 years now, at the speed of their interest burn and the delta hedging issues that they're having. And so it creates like a barbell situation with AMC and GameStop now, because if AMC's share price go up a little bit and then they pay off a lot of debt, all of a sudden it goes up in value, like fundamental value. And GameStop looking to already 10 times in its own company. So like they're trying to actively manage that. So one thing's going to break this barbell. If they just keep adding weight on this side, GameStop get heavier, all of a sudden the barbell just going to flip over, because you can't load up a bunch of 25s on one side of the barbell and have nothing on the other. It's like unbalanced. And these companies are balancing each other in the baskets now. If this was just the companies, this would have already been exploded a long time ago. And then so there's like a few key things happening. Like there's this company called Metamaterials, and
Right. I've written
I think
a blog
MMAT
on them.
or
MMTLP.
okay, so MMTLP is a different thing. Pretty much that company just got delisted and shoved under the rug while having the same thing happen, but they didn't have a direct registration.
That story is so
movement of
crazy.
their shares, and
That situation is insane.
Oh yeah. So the metamaterials thing. This is the company, right, that keeps doing reverse stock splits. I might be confusing it with a different company, Rivian.
Oh yeah,
maybe it's
I
not
think I'm
Rivian.
like, I'm pretty sure.
No,
Right.
I have it here on my list. Hold on.
Wait. Is it on this list right here, or should I pull back up your full chart?
Oh no, let me see here. I think I could find it because I made a note of it.
No. I know where it is on your chart. It's in the green area.
Yeah.
Let me get it. I looked at this chart really closely. I'm proud of myself. Okay, 1 second. I'll pull it up.
I think it's MMAT, like the next bridge. Oh, hold on.
Hold on. I got it for you. I think it's in this green section. See? Row 8, column A. And these are the memes, macro stocks, dude. And then the honorable mentions. But
Man,
I've got
Google is just good for nothing now. On
but what were you gonna say? And if not, we could talk about MMTLP really quick.
if I think of the
that's
company
like still
name,
worth
I'll
time.
drop it. It's just okay. So I think it's MMAT. I'll double check, but this company keeps reverse splitting. Like every month, they just do another like 100-for-1 reverse split, and it just like if you look at the stock graph now, it says like 5 years ago that the company was just worth like $20 trillion, and it's worth like a cent today because they just like reverse split over and over and over and over and over and over and over all the way into the ground. And then
What the heck? By the way, I'm looking at it on my freaking stock thing, and it says stock chart unavailable.
For which one?
MMAT.
Yeah, there's a lot of messed up stuff going
What
on in
the
some of those
heck?
companies. So
You can't even look at it on freaking.
no, that's what I'm
Google
saying. Google's
Finance.
just like no good for anything anymore.
What
you
is
just
going
can't-
on?
It's like AI thinks this is what you want, and it's like not what you want. So I don't know. It's messed up.
Oh, I lost our screen.
And so that proved case scenario that like AMC's not about to just keep doing a bunch of reverse splits. We know that doesn't work.
Right.
So it's just gonna hurt the company if they do it again. And so now we're refinancing our debt in the future, and we have good credit about it, and we're surviving. And that's the name of the game.
Wait.
Our cash bleed's going down. Like we're not gonna run out of cash. Like if AMC need to sell 100 million shares real quick, they'll do it, and they just did. And there was like 80 million volume per day for a couple days, like 50 million, 80 million, 30 million. Dude, their shares probably got gobbled up immediately. And like it's only 100 million shares. And if you compare that to like Apple today, Apple has 15 billion shares like already on the market. And they're worth like over $100 each. So 15 billion times 100 is like it's very large market cap. So that's an AMC looking at a way smaller price and a way smaller float size. So
Right. It's so insane.
we could sell
It's like such an
20
opportunity,
of the whole
and yet
company
like they hate
AMC
on
right
it.
now and still be smaller than Apple, but in share numbers of dilution and just still be smaller than Apple. It's like there's so much room for growth in AMC. It's ridiculous. And it's about the market moving from the old fundamentals that it's been valuing companies at by force because of like
by force. Well said.
through GameStop and AMC. That's why it takes a long time. GameStop should have probably already went to $1 trillion, but it's like, no, the market can't. So it's going to go to $1 trillion. And then that's just case scenario until it happens, unless we all just sell. But we're not going to do that. So that's what's going to happen. And bears can try and poke a hole in it all they want, but it's not about that. That's why this became a revolution, because we're not like, oh, let's make 4% a year on our GameStop, like what 401k. It's like, no, we just watched
7%.
Systematic part of this and
That's what I'm saying. Is
and
like
now we're gonna kick banks in the teeth for it. because
Yeah.
that implies that what they did in 2008, or probably who was betting behind 9/11, and like now we're fucking having a war with Israel and bombing Iran and blaming Ukraine and just all kinds of crap. There's just so much stuff going on. And we have private companies like Citadel that are like organized outside the United States, undermining the Constitution with other countries' rules.
Dude, and didn't freaking Ken Griffin like buy the Constitution for fun?
There's so much treason going on.
Like, he literally bought it.
Like every
Like, literally spent $1 million to buy it.
It's become you can't even, if you're a treasonous organization, this market will work for you, and if you're not, there is no place for you in it. So like that's why like
until the future. Until the ape revolution.
Right. We need a correction first to denominate the dollar against like hard assets.
The new sheriffs in town. Oh, yeah. Dude, that's crazy. Now, okay, I want to get into like two things here that I think people might be interested in. And it's the idea of zombie stocks and seller boxing. And that is what they wanted to do to AMC and GameStop originally, was turn them into zombie stocks.
Well, they are. If you look, these stocks are currently.
But people don't know what that means. So first explain what that means before you get into this. And then I hardly understand what seller boxing is. So start off with zombie stocks.
Right. So they'll push a price down with these leverages until it's like near $1. And then the company will have to either like issue more shares, which creates fear, or declare
these
bankruptcy.
like poor sweet companies that we love so much keep getting
that's what happened with like Toys R Us and whatever.
Exactly, on purpose.
Rebrand or franchise after any of this, but banks will pretty much go in and gut.
They're ruining the world. I mean,
so they currently have GameStop and AMC seller box. They're trying to push AMC down below $1, and like, but they were and have been this whole time. And it took them 5 years just to get it down to $1, even after a reverse split and 8 unit and dilutions and like. And I don't think we're going to get to that danger zone where it's under $1 for too long, where we have to delist or declare bankruptcy. Because even if we hit it now, we're looking at NVIDIA about to release the Rubin chip in April, and that's going to kind of redefine computer speed and level up AI to the next step. It's just the processing so good on these things, and the technology's there now. And like, so while NVIDIA is an actual good company that is like doing meaningful things, how it's funded is what is the bubble part, because
it's like good but not that good, just like AMC's not that bad.
Yeah, Microsoft and Facebook and whoever handing around 100 billion, but it's funding NVIDIA.
Right.
There are multiple hot potatoes happening here. So like a lot of institutions are going to get stuck with one. Like UBS is holding one, and they're connected straight into like some bigger players. I think we just seen a banking collapse this year already about like some of the like defaulting leverage there, and we got inflated housing collapsing now.
Zombie stocks is when they've turned stocks or companies so low, but they don't totally kill them off, so they can still make money.
Right, seller boxing.
Legally,
I don't want to add too much here. So with AMC and GameStop both being pushed all the way down to their channel, that GameStop's still up 86%. So they cannot even seller box that one. If you like draw lines.
What's seller boxing even mean before you say they can't seller box it?
So I would define seller boxing as like less a behavioral thing like we're discussing, but if you draw lines on a graph, it's going to create a certain shape, because like if the price gets pinned down over time, the line is going to go like this over time. And then GameStop's doesn't. Like while there is one, it has one that's going up also. So it's like it's a flag, not a down facing pendant. And so like the down pendants, like what you see in AMC right now, is like a true seller box. So it pretty much it puts an upper and a limit on the price so that it'll keep getting rejected and push lower and lower as they force the company to either dilute or declare bankruptcy or whatever. And then it's reflected by the company's strength and its market cap. So if AMC has $4 billion debt and $600 million in cash, that fear does exist. But then you have to look at like the other things the company's doing. Like it's got its debt extended. Its revenues have been restored since COVID. Like they did like $5 billion last year or something. So it's kind of easy to maybe double it. Not that that's a small feat, but it's like we're talking about only doubling $5 billion while they're trying to double NVIDIA again with $5 trillion. And it's like, that's 1,000.
But it's the only way they can survive is like hold it up as a collateral, as like a valuable collateral.
Well, we see housing collateral collapsing now. It's like a lot of these people holding houses. The houses are just getting older. And then they're
Right.
building apartments right now. So as soon as they start building houses, dude, the prices are done with housing, and they already can't sell the houses they're holding. And so it's like they already priced out a whole generation of housing where those people are just buying GameStop instead, pretty much. So like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be buying a house with GameStop shares or Pokemon cards or AMC
True.
shares. I'm not going to be ever making a 50-year mortgage. That's just hilarious to me because I'll be like 83 by the time I'm done paying that off, which is just ludicrous. Like I would never recommend that to anybody. And I can't believe it's an actual thing on the table who would take that. And then the fact that people are taking it, it just proves the psychological battle part. People are dumb, dude. And COVID proved that too. Like, how many people just get this untested vaccine? A lot of people did. And while I'm not like an anti-vax or anything, I was like, let me wait and see. And then come to find out, like, yeah, like it wasn't a good idea. Like, there's not much good things happening about
only
it.
15% of the freaking population didn't get it. So you're,
Right. And only 1% of the population globally, 10 million apes are holding these companies.
True. Okay, so
there's 8 billion people.
There's some worlds that nailing it, and others
1 in 800 people
tripping,
even
falling.
know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And not that they're idiots, but it's like they're.
But it's been hidden. It's been hidden unless you were there and you were there.
It's like
watching
the
these
propaganda is bad.
Emotionally, like it's hard. It's got to be freaking hard for anyone who didn't like watch DFV freaking with his poster at the congressional hearing and hasn't been in this and doesn't have that unwavering conviction. I mean, like, I don't know. I think that's what my friends, like when my friends put like $400 into AMC back like 3 years ago and was like, what the heck? Like, this was a stupid waste of my money. And it's like, yeah, unless you have that like understanding, you're like, what? Like, this is so dumb.
And it's like it's not their fault. It's like the environment. It's the weak environment that we're coming from. Why we're
propaganda
strong,
too.
why we're about to make a strong environment. And
yeah,
we can tie like another question if you want to like.
Yeah. I wanted to know if there's anything else on this chart you want to get. Oh, 1 second. I want to know if there's anything else on this chart you want to get into, and then I do have some questions.
Yeah, we didn't even hit anything on the chart. Like, there's like the social.
We hit a little.
Deep. Like we
talked about zombie stocks.
OnlyFans right now. That's probably a part of the men versus women front and the division front, whatever. And now OnlyFans is APAC's largest donor. Like, it's just so freaking horrible, dude. Like that.
And then you sent me that yesterday. How, like now, in their video games, they're advertising OnlyFans.
We got all-time high divorce rates, and lawyers love that. And it just the rich maintain power and keep division, and it just absolutely worst case scenario. Like, dude, straight up. Okay, there's this game called RuneScape, right? And I did like a lot of research on it, and I played this game when I was a kid, and like. Pretty much Venezuela's economy collapsed, and then this company now, the in-game gold kind of acts as like a cryptocurrency because like nerds will just buy it so they can play the game and get good weapons and shit and like whatever. It's like the first cryptocurrency because this game's been operating for about 25 years. And so as this anomaly is happening, and so the bots, this is where bots become a problem because people can make a bunch of bots and play this game. And then it's pretty much its own regulated billion-dollar private market now. And Jagex is the company owner, and it's like a European-based company. And so now the bots are just spamming OnlyFans links all over everywhere. And it's setting a precedent because like now the like OnlyFans creators, which is like in modern prostitutes, just like have taken over the market. They just like, oh, here's a forum for buying furniture. Well, check out my OnlyFans.
And like you're already like playing video games and like wishing
like
your life was more, and then you get pulled into OnlyFans.
So kids are just finding OnlyFans links freaking everywhere, and there's no regulation, and it's just a fake dream that getting all these young girls stuck in it while we have all-time high divorce rates.
Getting all these guys stuck in it.
Dude, all these girls are about to be 30 and single because like
okay.
sold out.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I just think. Well, I think it is. It's like the system's funneling. It's like loneliness is being funneled by OnlyFans, which is then funneling lobbying, which is then funneling. It's
and
all.
They're creating the despair, though. That's the problem.
Exactly.
The world doesn't have to be like this. And
that's why I think MOASS could change things and will. I'm so optimistic.
The good thing about GameStop is at least we had like 4 or 5 years now to all like talk about making the world a better place when it actually happens. And
be patient.
some of us aren't. Some of us are going to get rich and do drugs and or whatever, be the bad guy. But some of us are going to, if Bill Gates is the one up there doing it right now, I would take 10 million new attempts at that any day, where now his power is going to be checked because there's a bunch of GameStop millionaires and billionaires around who have power, and that money is power now, and time is money.
And finally credibility. And then after all these freaking years of talking about it, people go like, oh, that's why you were talking about it. Okay,
it's
now I'm willing to like your
Confederate
post.
versus Union argument. Like
Where,
one side was hated for so long, and then when the war was over, it's like, oh, like y'all did have a point.
Yeah.
And now here we are again, just like in worse slavery than then. Like it wasn't fixed, and the only presidents that ever tried to fix it all got assassinated. Like what a coincidence amongst suicidal business owners that also have almost fixed the problem, but everyone else like doesn't have mental issues. Just the people that try to fix the problem become suicidal.
Right.
Which is great.
So
I'm not suicidal, by the way.
Me either. Cool. So let's
live a long, happy life.
Me too. I'm gonna live to be 140 at a minimum.
Yeah, and the medical technology is there now.
Yeah.
We can just grow new kidneys once we're 100.
So wait, okay. Do you want to get into some specific questions, or do you want to get into more broader questions first, or get into my specific questions? I kind of have
whatever you want. This is your stream.
Come on. Okay. So I guess I have some like kind of general questions that maybe would be interesting to people, and I can double check on them. And then I have I actually went through your DD that you wrote recently, and I probably came up with like, I don't know, 15 to 20 specific questions for you.
Yeah, whatever you want to hit.
Okay, so let's get into a couple of these random ones that might be good just for kind of like general people who don't know too much about this, and then they'll be like, what the huh? That's what's going on with my money. So will you explain the DTCC? What is it?
It's part of market regulation, and then they'll deal in options contracts. So there's layers of the market. When you go,
when you buy a stock, they oversee it, right?
If you work a job and you make your job money or whatever, or you get an inheritance or your money, however you get it, when it becomes yours, and you put it in your bank account or don't, whatever. But like, say you follow this chain of events. So you put it in a bank account, and you probably have a brokerage. I use Fidelity for buying. So I'll transfer money into Fidelity, and then I'll transfer shares out of Fidelity into the direct registration program where I'll sell from there. And then...
Are you 100% DRS, by the way?
Yes. Every time I buy new shares, I'll wait until they settle and DRS them. So,
wow.
My Fidelity account just almost stays empty. Unless I just bought shares and they're in there. But... So back to the DTCC part, that's the chain kind of. So once you go on Fidelity, if you sign up for a basic account, you're like level 1 and your account's super restricted. You can only buy like companies at their stock face value. You probably don't know about arbitrage and market orders and limit orders and whatever. So like it's risky because like if you don't know what's going on, someone's going to scalp your order for sure in today's environment. And there's a lot of scam companies. So like if there's 20,000 publicly traded companies, but only maybe 1,000 of them are worth anything, and the other 19,000 are fake things they can just pump up 10,000% a day that no one's ever heard of, then it creates two markets almost. And that's what we're seeing today, because now we have like 95% of the market trying to leverage basically the S&P 500, while the meme stock bubble is like risking it all, like on the side. And a lot of these bubbles are
all we're trying to freaking do is get the market to be like fair, honest, save these codes, like make a beautiful world.
Right. It's like, this is the weapon that we've been fighting against. That's why it's like the revolutionary front in the market and not like a bunch of tanks in a field. And while that is happening, it's just the media cover of it now. I guess the military's a big parade, a show. Like you see France going over to Iran now, and it just because like their media has to cover it too. And
so I guess the thing about the DTCC though is the fact that it's like the regulator of all this stuff, but it's privately owned
Same with
and
like the Fed.
ran by the banks.
The Fed too. It's like not, and no, that's where we get late stage capitalism, the corporate reign, because now
The
it's not.
freaking people in charge of making sure it's fair are the banks.
In history, when churches had power, they stepped on everybody, and when government had power, they stepped on everybody. Now banks have power, and they're stepping on everybody. That's what we're seeing, and so the DTCC manages
every trade
options. That's where I was going with the chain of money through a bank account, through a brokerage. And so once you are trading on Fidelity, and if you're not day trading where you're like buying and selling every day and trying to take short-term profits, but that's like a high tax bracket anyway. I don't like to play around like that. That's gambling in my opinion. But like if you buy and hold a security based on like
I've literally never sold any of those shares.
That's where like stock trading becomes different, and then that's where apes come in. But the market had been kind of programmed, and the social propaganda right now is to try and just get everyone to be day
traders. Oh, you guys
so
are day traders. These retail investing day traders.
That's why they have a problem with people buying and holding right now, which is just like what Warren Buffett ever did. And then here he is like the king today about it. And
but
it's ironic that they'll be like, "Oh, Warren Buffett's so awesome," but no one look what he did or how he did it. It's just a wild.
And I don't know honestly if he's totally innocent.
Then there's even things happening like now that's tethered to like a lot of this broader stuff. You saw Berkshire Hathaway go to zero like last year or 2024, and then like it's happening with other companies too. Like they'll just market corrections, glitches, whatever, and repositioning. So when you can apply through the brokerage, like Fidelity, for example, to gain more access to the market. So there's 5 levels: level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Level 1, you can basically just trade securities.
That's
level 2, you can trade like calls and puts.
That's right, like making options. Bets that are
level
higher.
3, you can like start making your own contracts and selling it, and it just goes up. But let's just talk about the lower levels because it just gets more diluted and room for fraud up in the other levels.
But no, I want to keep going on to random questions because I don't think that's kind of getting a little too, unless you think it's worth it. I'm like, that's a little too.
Let me hit
go
your
ahead.
DTCC point. That's where this private company, like you said, will come in and do options leverage at level 2. So anyone playing level 1, which is what we're doing by just buying and holding shares, is over leveraged by how over leveraged that bank is in their ability to just manipulate with options.
Okay.
So we're talking about the strength of that leverage through the DTCC and level 2 trading on options. So that's why the DTCC has been key, because that's where like there was a guy doing market cycles for like AMC videos, Richard Newton. And
he was really
awesome. Was like lining up swaps and
I didn't understand any of that stuff, but he kept getting Pokemon cards and playing with his daughter and teaching her math, and like he was
he did good content and like
he did it for everybody, a little bit for everybody.
He struck the community well because he hit a couple key points by lining it up on that timeline, and it has to do with like where you can now pin where banks are like pumping fraud through that specific leverage. So that's why what I wanted to just hit with your DTCC question, and you can like look up what that institution is and what they're supposed to be doing and like what they're doing and how they became to be, and like history is important here.
Yeah. So, dude, like the freaking Titanic, and the fact that like the JP Morgan owned it and then didn't go, and then one day later the freaking Fed was formed.
Yeah, and then like
not to
got
rich
rich
off
of it, and there's a whole
that's in your chart.
Descendants are related to those same people that are like in current money today. They're just it's a handed down crap, and just billionaires are kings today. Just you can't say it like that because like we're capitalism, not like a monarch or whatever. But it's the same difference. Like pretty much whatever they say goes, and they can just buy you out if it goes differently than that. So it's still what they say goes until like someone stands up to them. But then like that's where shit like the Luigi Mangione case will come in, because like I guess he gunned down a healthcare CEO in the street,
right?
But fairly, not that what he did was right or fair, but
and today's Mario Day at GameStop. I mean, if you dress up as Mario when you go to GameStop, you get $5
and would never face the consequences for it. So then that was like a divine justice, but not that it was right. But now the FBI ended up tampering with all his evidence, so that court case probably going to just stay a media crux for however long. And yes, today's Mario Day. Happy Mario Day. And
Happy Mario Day.
On March 10th, a few years ago, GameStop's chart glitched super bad, and it was just like public display of like algorithmic crap. So I can pull up the picture and send it to you later. But
wait, I want to jump.
It's hard to Google. I had to use AI to find it because they like removed all the pictures of what the actual graph looked like that day. But like it looks like a normal.
That's the thing too. All the graphs aren't even freaking accurate. They're like watered down versions of what really happened.
Well, it's just Google's part of their machine to just control information.
Stocks and blah blah blah.
Yeah, so like
it's crazy. You can't even get accurate information.
Even Reddit became a part of that. But
exactly. Oh, I know. It's like we watched it go downhill.
But luckily, it's like forum based and community centric. So like, some still gets through on places like Reddit.
Yeah, but can I ask you? Okay, I want to jump like way ahead into the like nichiness of this because I figured this out recently the day, and I was like, what? And then I want to get back to basics. Okay, so right now the DTCC controls like all of the stock market basically and all of the things, and everything you do is through the DTCC, and it's self-owned and self-regulated and run by the banks and the exact people that this I don't even know how to like say the words for this, but I'm going to say this like in my way, and I'm not probably saying it accurate at all, but you'll get where I'm going and then you can pick it up. But basically from what I understand is like the DTCC is kind of our only option right now for like running how the stock markets are traded. And it's like the
okay.
It's like, wait, let me get to my point. And then you cut me off. Okay, so what I understand though is like you have like different T2, T3, like the days till you have to settle your trades, right? And so basically like right now, and then you get on your FTDs because you didn't deliver it in time, and then maybe you get put on the freaking reg show because you took too many days to deliver it. What I understand is there's a new, I don't know if it's new, but there's a new daddy in town. I don't know if you guys watch
T0, right? That's
T0. So what I understand is like T0 is going to be blockchain. The trades will happen in the exact same day. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. It's crypto backed. And who owns T0? Beyond, aka old Overstock, aka the back here Beyond. And then there's all these rumors of GameStop and Teddy and Bed Bath & Beyond Q, the shell, and so like in some worlds, freaking GameStop / AMC / like sort of this tribe or whatever, this crew is connected to the replacement of the DTCC, so we might become the new right. But also, it's not even like you're running the stock market because it'd all be on blockchain and it'd all be visible. So, what I'm understanding is the DTCC might get replaced with T0, which is owned by Beyond.
So you made me a couple things pop into my head. Ripple XRP. And yes, T0 as part of the Bed Bath & Beyond Category G Chapter 11 Special Purposes and Acquisitions merger. So this had been hidden under DK Butterfly and Dragonfly and Teddy Incorporated, and just nothing is in stone.
It's all okay. Wait. What he's talking about is like the bankrupt Bed Bath & Beyond has all these crazy names now, like DK Butterfly and all this like random. It like literally has all these crazy names. And people think it's not actually gone forever, like me.
So from the DTCC into T0, T0, it's pretty much...
It's a new way for the stocks to trade
it's a blockchain, but more specifically for tokenized securities. So that's where GameStop's going to be able to tokenize all its legal shares.
What does tokenized mean? Like backed by proof, like unable to be distorted?
So they'll create a blockchain. And then that has nodes, like a limited number of nodes.
Right.
And then so they're going to fill all those nodes with the number of GameStop shares that are legal. And then all of the nodes are full. And then any extra shares don't get to go in the nodes. So then they're just going to be exposed. And then that's a problem for the old market now.
Because the old market, they can make fake shares, fake this, blah, blah, pass it around. This is totally transparent.
And so while I think that's one of the major acquisitions GameStop's going to be looking into, I don't think GameStop is going to acquire AMC Entertainment. But not now.
Nobody's saying that other than me.
It's because of AMC's
They
debt
should.
load. And because GameStop wants to keep the strong balance sheet, especially if they're becoming a holding company and going to maybe replace a government institution that's a private
Emergency
company.
question then. If they don't buy AMC, what's going to happen to AMC?
Okay,
they just got to pay up. It's going to
that's the
shoot up, pay off the
barbell
debt, and then
thing.
AMC
That's
is
the
its
barbell
own.
thing. If GameStop loaded up their barbell so high, and all of a sudden all the weight's removed, the barbell flips.
Right, and then they'll just build the stock price will go up. They pay off their
So
thing, and then
AMC
AMC
will
is
go
its own
up,
little
but
champion.
not because of anything that happens within AMC, but because market leverages are reorganizing, and it just completely broke their leverage because the basket broke. The basket that AMC and GameStop are both in. If GameStop leaves that basket, all those ETFs become worse cat shit wrapped in dog shit. Like they just don't have any value now because GameStop's in it. And so if that's just removed, then and then AMC's debt problem as a temporary problem, if the stock price goes up a little bit, American can just issue shares and pay off the debt pretty easily.
Right, exactly. And then boom, done.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a
easy peasy.
Done. We already saw High Crop.
Easy peasy. Send in the 8 movies.
1,000%.
Send in my movies. I'm writing them.
Bed Bath & Beyond and AMC and GameStop are all holding warrants right now. And that's for a reason, because the DTCC operates on level 2. And it's their hedge against level 2.
The DTCC works on level 2? You think they'd be level 5?
I'm sorry?
I'm just, I don't know. I don't know anything, but I'm like, you'd think they'd operate on the top level.
Actually, you know what? It's wild. This gatekeeping so bad. Like, I actually applied on Fidelity, and then they wouldn't approve me to be level 2 unless I could prove like $200,000 a year in income. But I had already bought GameStop and AMC and transferred them. So they looked at my profile.
Oh, they're like, this guy's up to trouble. He's too smart.
So I had a girlfriend back at that time. I'm not with that person anymore, but they opened an account brand new, and they just got approved for level 2 immediately. And I'm like, oh, they'll just
shadow
let you do a trade unless you already know what you're doing. And
infidelity.
So I went over to a different brokerage, Trade Station, and they just set me up for level 2 with no problems. But
wow.
I was just shocked to learn all that and go through it. And I even went to an interview at Fidelity, and then they asked about my portfolio, which I didn't think was any of their business. But I just told them, I was like, I'm holding.
You're like,
and then I didn't get that job, but
I know, I remember that you were asking them questions they didn't even know the answers to.
And I went to 5 rounds of interviews. This is so dumb, dude.
What a waste of time. They were just
I'm just not doing that anymore. I'm just a waiter now and using my waiter cash and my
That's what I'm saying. You're literally too smart for this system.
I'm just buying more shares because
right.
Cash is king right now. And then I realized that while working this hard in waitership seems like slavery, but if you know that slavery is actually largely implemented by money and banks, this work I'm doing right now is meaningful because as soon as AMC and GameStop do happen, I'm not gonna be able to just work a waiter job and get some shares. It's gonna be too late. So I have to do it right now. This is the time to be doing it because it's what happens. People were buying Bitcoin at $100 before Bitcoin, and then that's why if anyone was gonna make money on Bitcoin, it was 10 years ago. They already did, and those are the people trying to sell it now. And
right.
That's why everything eventually come to the top. I wouldn't be surprised if GameStop in 100 years get corrupt and taken over and become what we're dealing with right now. It's
right.
To become what you hate thing, but it's that's going to companies in the world.
Can we change the world? Can we change the world, people? We are going to. Come on.
It's if I have a kid and just hand him a bunch of money, they might have seen me work for it, so they might do okay. But then they have a kid, and that kid gets the money, and he didn't know where it came from, so he probably wasted all of it.
I don't know, or they got a bunch of mutual funds, and then they turned it into AMC and GameStop shares and fight the system. So you never know.
Well, there are some funds doing those kinds of things, but then also that's where insider restrictions are high. So while Adam Aaron can't even talk, probably some institutions can't even do anything, or whatever the case.
That's what I'm saying. This is so crazy.
401ks and everything tied
so stupid. Not to be rude saying it's stupid, but it's stupid. It's so many stupid rules where you can't even freaking anyway, do this obvious stuff. Okay, let's go back to these 101 questions. Are you ready for this extremely 101 question?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, it's a 2-part. It's what's a meme stock and why is that term weaponized? Because I get so freaking annoyed when I hear, oh, there's a new meme stock. Because I'm like, give me a break. We haven't even
Right.
dealt with the original meme stocks.
So I wouldn't even say AMC or GameStop or meme stocks. They're like revolution stocks. But
Right.
then like maybe memes like would be like costs because they kind of had similar events, but cost does not have a large DRS flow or an options chain, just like MMTLP. Like they would probably get away with just delisting
I feel like
that
there's
one.
two definitions of meme stock then.
Yes, and it's because it's a psychological front. If a Warren Buffett's generation of investor has $1 million 401k and they're retired, and then they hear about GameStop and they look at the graph, but then
GameStop.
the media and then Motley Fool that they've listened to their whole life is like,
Right,
oh,
give me a break.
That's a meme. Like they don't want to buy
Yeah.
that.
They're like,
and then that's
ew.
what they're listening to, and that's why they're gonna get kicked in the teeth with these banks.
And so
when
it's
people
used-
lose 401ks and pensions.
I'll answer it. It's weaponized because they don't want people to look into it and realize what's actually going on.
Right. If they called it like legacy life-changing stocks,
Right.
everyone would look into it. Like so they have to make it
Right.
sound like it's like, oh,
Like,
meme stocks?
Ooh, like a
Well, those are
TikTok,
only
like a
for
TikTok, like
gay
the ice
people.
challenge, ice bucket challenge.
No hit on gay people, but like, man, you used to be able to use the word gay. Like, if you lose in a video game, you could be like, oh, that's gay, or like, but now it's like, be offended by a word with like the LGBTQ narrative, LGBTQ plus or whatever. But
Right. Well, okay, let's get into
it's just
what?
well, okay. So you asked.
Why is it
meme
weaponized?
stocks?
I already said the answer. What? Go ahead, go.
Okay, no, just you had a second part of the question. I want to make
That
sure
was
I
it. It was
missed.
what's a meme stock and why is it weaponized? Don't worry, I have
Okay.
like a million questions.
It's just a psychological thing.
we're
like,
only 10% into this.
they did a video of the pie in the face about meme stocks, retail investors.
Oh yeah, that
where
was
they spent
so
like taxpayer
dumb.
money making it. Like they literally had a $400,000 write-off to make this video that was like offensive and like it's probably going to be looked at later as like bad. Like I don't know if it's illegal or whatever.
That
but
was
it's like,
insane.
They're saying, "Oh, you're
Where they were literally
manipulating the
making-
market by buying GameStop." But we're going to make a video saying how stupid you are, and that's not manipulation.
I want to
It's
share
like,
it.
oh,
I want to
what?
share it really quick for anyone that wants to see it. This is like insane. This was the most insane thing ever. Hold on. Let me screen share it. I hope this works. Oh. Woohoo! Okay, wait, is there going to be audio? Is there audio working for you?
I don't hear audio.
Okay, one second. Let me try this again.
The video does have audio though.
Stop. Share. Also share audio. Okay, I think it's going to work. But
Cool.
But
If it
even if
does,
not, this
I'm
was
gonna go grab
okay.
a
What
drink
is?
real
Where did
quick
this go
while-
out? Where was this found? Like, what is going on? This is like propaganda times 1,000. Where did this? Was this on freaking CNBC or something, or was this just on social media? What was? Oh, the YouTube, the
Yeah, the
official
YouTube
SEC
video.
YouTube.
But then they shared it like everywhere.
Okay,
but
so
it
let's
was,
watch
like,
this really
YouTube.
quick. This is like insane, and this is like where they're trying to make us look stupid. This was 4 years ago. This feels like yesterday. Here we go.
I don't see it.
You can't? Oh, thanks for telling me. Oh my God. I was like just watching it by myself. It's not working. Well, whatever. I'll put it in the freaking search official SEC YouTube channel making fun. Ugh, give me a break. We should watch it. Anyway, look at this. It doesn't matter. It's just so freaking frustrating. But
Yeah, it's just like a Jeopardy game show where they're
where they like make fun
"Pick
of
a
people.
stock," and the guy's like, I want meme stocks. And then they like throw a pie at him and like laugh at him.
It's like a 30-second video. It's so
and then they go to
stupid.
another girl and then she's like, oh, I want to invest in the equity that
Oh.
the media told me to invest in. And they're like, wow, you win.
You're a genius.
And then it's over. That's the whole freaking commercial. And it's like, what? And then they spent $400,000 making that video. And just for the record, I make music videos and I made way cooler videos on a budget of $0. So that's just wild to me. It's probably a fraud write-off and they used it as propaganda.
Is
Like,
this
it's just
working? Can you
wild.
see? Or no?
I'm sorry?
Can you see it?
No, it just still showed my chart and us on my screen.
All right, forget it. Oh,
You can screen
props.
share it or what?
Wait a second. I probably have to remove and woohoo!
Okay, there it is.
Got
Yes.
it.
Okay, let me
I
grab a
didn't
drink while
know
that
that.
plays real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome back. Fred It's your investment.
I'll take meme stocks. Invest.
Right? Look at this.
Your investment, Julie.
Got my water.
Research first.
I'm gonna do
Well
some
played,
research
Julie.
first. Freaking, I'm gonna do some research first. Give me a break.
You can do research.
You can do research? Give me a break.
Always do your research before
Investor.gov?
Learn more at investor.gov. Before you invest, investor.gov.
Yeah, I'm so glad we watched that.
Anyway,
Why I oughta.
it's just like, I don't know if that's not market manipulation, by the way, but buying a company you believe in, that's market manipulation nowadays. Like, that's what they are going on, which is just, that's why it's not sustainable, dude. Because what, people are just going to stay stupid forever and keep bending over for worse and worse stupid things? Like, no, dude, the revolution's coming. It just,
Yes. Bah. Okay, that well said. Give me a break. That's not market manipulation. All right.
we get your next questions. Like, I know we're trying to like condense so much information in the least time.
Yeah, you know, maybe we can meet back up again. I don't know how your time's going. I have
Oh no, I'm good on time today.
Me too, me too,
I
me
don't
too.
have work or anything, so
Okay.
I made the time so we could do this.
me too. I have stuff in a few hours, but it's not even essential. So,
I
but
gotcha.
we won't be here for too much longer, you know, not hours and hours and hours. But I was laughing earlier. I think we should do a 24-hour. We should find people to do a 24-hour marathon fundraiser or something. You know what I mean?
But
Like,
what's
I feel like
wild
we can
is,
talk
like-
about this for literally 24 hours.
Like bigger figures in this movement, like Roaring Kitty, for example, he probably couldn't come out on a video and talk about this stuff. Like, he probably have like.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the loneliest stock market of the people that actually care aren't even freaking allowed. I don't even know if they're. Anyway.
Yeah. So, but while he was, not that he like became an insider, but it's like he became an insider because like they had to pull him in because like he knew too much. He was going to break the system from the outside if they didn't pull him in. So now, at least with him on the inside, whatever happens, it could like.
I'm offended we're not breaking it from
part.
the outside. Can't we be there?
It's because this is a fractured revolution. It's not like GameStop happened, we kick banks in the teeth, and then it's like the reign of the people now. It's like they're trying to stop it and fighting everywhere on every
with the
front
freaking
about
that BS video.
Yeah, that's just one
and
example.
Even like you put
so
up your
much
BB
stuff.
and it was like all just bots attacking.
Yeah, even my the post you have up, that chart I made with on the post, the rest of that information.
Yeah.
Just getting bashed in the comments. Like, it's just, they're not any good comments about me.
Right, everyone's like, I don't have time to read that, but it looks boring. That's what everyone says to you.
Yeah,
Like,
and then I was literally like, I don't have time to read your comment. Like,
but it's wrong. It's so like, oh my god.
I don't even reply to most of that because the information's out there. It's
That's what I'm saying though.
of
If
itself,
you're
but it's just
browsing,
not
and even if you spend like
bad
1 or 2
about it.
hours trying to research this, you'd be like, oh, look at the sentiment. It's down. Like, no wonder the stock's down 99.99%.
Yeah.
And
I'm
no
just-
wonder it's a bad company.
I'm just so dumb over here with my business degree. But
No, you're literally too smart. Okay. Now, my next like bunch of questions would be like, I don't really know how. Okay. Let's talk about like GameStop and then AMC in specific. So first, let's talk about GameStop and kind of like, let's talk about like kind of the past 5 years. I'm like, let's just summarize really quick the past 5 years of GameStop. Or I mean, AMC might be better. No, let's start with GameStop because I already said it. But like, what's kind of, because now like the like people tie them together, but there's two totally different things going on with them. And I even want to say that I don't know.
yeah, two different weapons against the same enemy and the enemy's same weapon. So if they were both highly shorted, and the Delta
Like,
hedge
how
thing
did
I
we
was
end up
talking
with
about,
two?
both
But also
companies
there's like
took-
kind of 3 with MMTLP and then 4 with this BBBIQ thing. But
So AMC can have an advantage because if it's really tethered to things like GameStop and GameStop moves and it moves AMC, we've seen correlation in their charts a lot, 31% over the last 5 years. And it's either going to be one goes up and the other goes way down. But if they're both already at the bottom of their seller box channels, there's no room to go down. So it's going to break up. This is where both of them break up together because we're talking about the barbell hedge. If GameStop explodes in price and the weights are moved, the other one goes up too because the barbell flips over.
uh-huh.
And
So what are some of the moves that like Ryan Cohen has been doing ever since he became CEO that are kind of like epic, even though people aren't talking about him in the mainstream? For example, I'm like, let me tell you my first one. When he freaking went and there was like one quarter that he lowered the expenses by 98%, like 2 years ago. Like he cut
Yeah,
all
he's like closing stores that are unprofitable, and a lot of that's due to like
and it's like because they
bad
used to
commercial real estate market. If they're
and they used
leveraging
to be
everything,
running bad on purpose. Like the old CEOs were literally running these companies stupidly on purpose so that they'd go bankrupt, and that was
and
part of it all.
it's all part of the fraud. Like, so
Yes.
now commercial real estate's so bad because these bankers are so greedy, but they're also dumb. Like, I would call them dumb money, but they'll like lease out commercial real estate, but then like say GameStop's paying $8,000 a month on a building.
Okay.
And then say that like it's inflated, and then the economy is receding, and business fundamentals, the renegotiation, new contract when the time rolls over, whatever. And then the banks are like, no, you got to pay us $10,000 now. But then realistically, GameStop's like, no, it's realistic for us to pay you only $7,000. And then so they can't strike a deal. GameStop leaves. Now instead of banks making $7,000 on their property, they're just making $0. And then the empty buildings will just sit there for 5 years. And so like banks write those off into the derivative mess where they got $2 trillion circulating for everyone to share. And then they're managing $700 quadrillion in notional derivatives that are completely screwed and rolled over into idiosyncratic risk. So now GameStop's almost a bet that, yeah, the entire economy is fake until proven otherwise. And once it is proven otherwise, we'll all sell. Sure, just prove it to us. And that they can't. So we're not selling, and we won't. And so they started this and are continuing it, and then they're gonna just still blame us for it. But
so, what do you think are some of the most epic moves that GameStop's made in the past 4 years, or like significant? For example, Ryan Cohen's not taking a salary.
So,
can you believe it?
Agreed. So that plus buying Bitcoin to destroy their hedge,
right?
And so now they can't like manipulate
their
price
partnership
of GameStop
with PSA is kind of cool.
Bitcoin leverage, and kind of all altcoins are tethered to Bitcoin in the way like all other countries' fiats are tethered to the US dollar. There's some outliers and stuff, but pretty much that risk have been removed from the table now because GameStop's holding Bitcoin. So while if it might collapse all the way to zero, and GameStop is holding $500 million in Bitcoin, it was only like 4% of GameStop's cash to take that position for that safety. So really, it was a very smart move. Plus, how they do announcements is great.
Their GameStop awards are so funny.
And addressed a lot of good things about the company, but from something like Adam Aaron couldn't do because this is a different than a non-public material information thing because GameStop's balance sheet is perfect, so they don't have to like adhere to.
How do they have a perfect balance sheet and the freaking suppressed price? Look at this.
Because when the price went up, they capitalized on selling shares.
Oh yeah, they kept selling.
And then they made a lot of cash out of the position, and then that has helped create the floor that we're looking at on that GameStop.
Right.
Because now the price can't really go below $23 a share because with that current price and the amount of shares that exist, the company is worth $10 billion market cap, rounded. And then GameStop's holding $10 billion in cash, rounded. But what if the price goes lower? It's $10 billion in cash. It's just worth less than $10 billion. It's like, not only do fundamentals not support this now, but logic has left the table. And so the company, that's why it's at the bottom of its current seller box, because it can't go lower. Like it just can't, it might dip down to like $22, but like there's no way this thing going down to like 10 again. Like it just cannot be possible. Then they would be valuing $10 billion of cash at like $4 billion, which like they got me messed up if that's the case. Because then while Nvidia is like only getting revenues from government bailout, for $5 trillion, like y'all got me so messed up. I'm buying GameStop for life, dude. Like it just never gonna make sense to me, and I'm not gonna take that logic. I wouldn't take it in my relationships. I wouldn't take it in my work. I'm not gonna take it from banks trying to control my life. Like it's just not gonna happen. And then that's part of just like ape sentiment coming through. But yes, GameStop has been doing great things,
amazing
with
moves,
strong balance
such a
sheet.
simple company,
and that's why I'm farther understanding this as like a big delta hedge, because at the same side of the argument,
That doesn't make sense to me.
AMC getting a lot of flack for running the opposite playbook, like maintaining debt, running close to the line. It's about ripping the basket apart that they're both in. So when GameStop moves, AMC is going to move because they're tethered together by debt obligations that were rolled into each other with a forward and reverse split. So the legacy shorts are stuck. They can't get out of this. They can't. They're going to keep paying interest to maintain,
but try to talk it down.
And then so the long game, when this started, Bank of America was saying, like, we need privacy for 75 years before anyone ever even looks into what happened. And it's like, yeah, they want to trade this sideways for 75 years because it's the only way they can not drown. But that's not sustainable because, like, more and more market forces happen, new companies appear, the events happen, we go to war. The volatility is going to appear and it's going to break these baskets and over leverage people. And that's why Donald Trump was an outlier, because while he ran as a Republican, and I'm not like right or left, but he's the only one who ran like, I'm going to poke the bear about whatever is going on in the market. And so like, that's what we needed. And he's doing it. Like, yes, we're taking over Venezuela, Greenland, going in Iran. America's going to be the whole world soon, I guess. Like soon we're going to just be deporting people in this country to other America because we're taking over everything. But it's like, that this is how geopolitical and then the social aspect and then the propaganda and then the market mechanics all plug in. And so policy is an effect of the market now. So if the market makes a move, the politicians have to scramble and make an excuse for it and go with it.
Right.
Run the narrative and whatever. And then so Donald Trump kind of comes in as an outlier and it stirred up a lot. And then here we are, like already in like full blown war kind of everywhere. And the media can't even call it that still. So it's like how much of the lag of the narrative is there. Like they still can't even swallow GameStop and AMC that happened 5 years ago, while AMC and GameStop about to jump to the next layer of this. It's just going to be bigger, badder than the first time. And that's why if you look at like how much money's been printed up to $40 trillion and then like what was happening around 2008, because like not only did like Volkswagen squeeze and the housing market collapse and silver went up and a bunch of laws got changed. And so like the same thing happened in 2021 and like a bunch of laws got changed and like a bunch of stocks exploded. And so if the cycle, you saw the 5-year cycle now appearing on the daily on like GameStop and AMC. And if cycles are getting condensed that way, probably AMC and GameStop are about to be just exploding more and more and more often as the cycle gets shorter and shorter and more condensed. And so then we're looking at them being seller boxed, and how that works is they pretty much declare bankruptcy and disappear from the box, or they break above the resistance line at the top of the box. And that's what AMC and GameStop did in 2021. And it has been reseller boxed to where it is now, where it's just going to break up again even harder based on the leverages are all bigger now. And they never covered anything since any of these, since 9/11, since 2008, since 2021. And now we have to print $40 trillion per rollover period just to maintain what's happening. And it's just not possible because the rate of doubling money gets so unsustainable. We're going to be looking at $100 a gallon of milk soon, and then probably still a $7 minimum wage. So it's just not going to be good for anybody. And so we need a correction here. You got to get banks holding precious metals and revalue the fiat money to banks that are holding precious metals, and that's it. We got to redo banking pretty much. And it's just because they are letting off the hook so bad. They should never have done no fractional reserves. We should never even had a Fed be managing all of this stuff as a private company. Right. It just created all these holes for all these crooks to hide in. And then now it's kind of all exposed. But we can move to like a different question. To your next.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about, what do you think's so what is this $32 trigger for GameStop? And then also what's the October 2026 deadline? Does that mean anything to you?
Well, the deadline can be extended. That's like a fear management thing, because while they're creating fear by like, oh, AMC going to declare bankruptcy, GameStop can create fear like, oh, y'all's obligations are due by October 26th until farther notice. So, and then that has to do with Gamma. So if the stock price hits $32 and it's currently $22,
Right.
He's guaranteeing that the company's going to increase in value by about $8 billion.
Right. How? Well, it's at $24 right now. So what?
Probably
in a few
through
months, it's going to be
business
up to 32,
acquisitions.
and then you can buy it at 32, or they expire, or what?
Yeah, so pretty much if you're holding the
Oh, but
warrant
could you
still, like
extend
I'm
it?
still holding my warrants. So
Me too.
you can execute the warrant to buy a share for $32. And while that does not make sense to do right now because the share price is less,
24.
it pretty much it's like, well, why would he issue them at $32 if the price is just going to stay at 22 forever?
Right.
But he wouldn't. So he's telling us
It's bullish.
it's going to go up to at least $32 at some
by
point.
October.
Whether it blows past it, whatever happens then, whatever happens, that's all like undisclosed information.
So that ties into this idea of Berkshire 2.0.
Exactly. So GameStop's probably going to achieve that growth with a business merger announcement when it just acquires some cheap
Before
assets with all
October.
its cash.
Speaking of, did you see today that literally today, Marcus Lemonis, the CEO of Beyond, said that they're going to have a merger soon, but he can't talk about it till May?
Right. And May is like right after NVIDIA drops its Rubin chip, and then they're going to have their next cycle's business reported. And so like every GME earnings now is like an event because like, and then this is going to start lining up this summer. But now we got war ramping up, and the Jerome Powell's about to get removed, and they just removed that other girl, the DHS, Christine Naum. So Trump's stripping a lot of these positions, and it's back to him being like an outlier because he ran as a Republican, but he's more like the candidate who was following the money the whole time. Like, and that's all I'm doing. And why, like,
yeah, like when I went to that BBBY event, the BBBYQ event, the bankrupt event in Florida, and then Pulte was there, and then next thing you know, he's in the White House. So clearly, like the White House maybe
a lot of the fronting on the propaganda and the hypocrisy about like Trump, like they'll show a clip of him saying like in 2012, like, oh, the market's bad from this. I would never do that. And now he's like doing what he said he wouldn't do, but it's a different environment now. So it doesn't even mean the same thing for him to do that. But the media will try and twist it anyway. And they're afraid because Trump's going to make the government strong. But that means it's not good for banks. And so then governments and banks versus people
Sorry,
the whole time.
DCCC, welcome.
Now it's government and people versus the banks. Like, we're turning on the banks, and Trump gonna let the explosion hit the banks and protect the government.
Banks don't even have anything in their freaking vaults.
That part, so the banks let themselves get this over leverage, so they can't like go blame anyone else now that they're this deep. It's not like they're like, oh, we're over leveraged 20% because our reserves got a little low. It's like, oh, we've been committing fraud for probably 100 years, and now we're caught.
Yeah, exactly. They're getting caught. Now, next topic. Let's go over the past. Your favorite topic, if I do put words in your mouth.
I just want to make a note. Go look up the Fort Knox gold audit. Okay, it's still unconcluded, but it just kind of got left alone by media since it started. But I think that's going to come back and be.
I've heard people talk about that, and people are like convinced that definitely there's going to be gold there. Oh, but that's going to be a big deal, right?
Yeah, but whatever they end up reporting, because it's going to reflect. I think it's going to be way less than anyone thought was in there because of the no reserve limit. They don't have to have reserves now, so they definitely don't. Not that they should, but they're just like, oh, we're going to take full advantage of this because we can get unlimited leverage everywhere and complete government bailouts at all times. No questions asked. Taxpayers will just pay for everything forever. And it's like, no, that's what a revolution is.
Wait, who's in charge of Fort Knox, by the way? Whose job is it to have the money there? The Fed?
I don't want to say something that I don't know. I don't know who's exactly in like.
Oh my god, I feel so smart.
I'm sure
by the
there's
way.
a manager.
You don't even know.
Some institutional involvement there, but I don't know the chain of command about it. I could look into it, but
we'll AI it later. Okay. Next topic that you're going to love. Let's talk about AMC over the past 5 years. And I think because you've kept more attention on AMC than most people, than me. And like, what do you think are some of the moves? What was going on with them? How did they get involved with this? And what are some of the things they've done in the past 5 years that have impressed you?
Okay, so I know you have my chart pulled up, but can you go to the actual DD on Reddit and scroll down on it?
Yeah, that'll take a second.
Yeah, just set that up. And then, so like, I'm buying AMC and GameStop, but I would say my position in AMC is larger, but that's me taking more risk because while the same thing's happening in both, GameStop's in a healthier position, but if they both explode in the way I think, there's maybe more upside with AMC. It's a larger company, and if GameStop already saw some gains up to $500, and then it was a blip, and then they're covering for that, AMC did not even yet see $500. So they both did hit a $40 billion market cap, though, at their all-time highs, notably. So like that's where the lid was, as far as like if they would have achieved more than a $40 billion market cap, it would have blown everything up. So that's why it stopped there for both of them, one at a time.
Wait, say all that again, because I was literally just feeling so proud of myself for doing a good job of managing StreamYard. This is this is what I was supposed to pull up, right? Thank you. I'm like, wow, I'm doing so great at this.
Scroll
and by the way,
down.
you guys can look this up. If you guys want to look this up on Reddit, this is what we're talking about this whole time.
Yeah. So
this is the one that all the wait. By the way, all the comments are like, I don't have time.
Okay, scroll back up.
Everyone's like, I don't have time to read this. Okay, yeah.
Go to the AMC graph.
Oh yeah. I love these.
The red bars.
These.
Yes.
It needs, but this chart, it needs like a second bar of like how much they're paying every month. Like I want to know like monthly by monthly. Who was it? Stock Retail, who I literally sat next to there's a YouTuber named Stock Retail who I literally sat next to at the movie theater at the Adam Aaron meet and greet. And I was such a cute meet and greet. And I was such a huge fan of Stock Retail. And then it turns out I sat next to him and behind Adam Aaron. He used to do a really good job of monthly breaking down how much do we pay in debt, how much are we making, blah, 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 blah. So this is only like half of a chart in my eyes, but
yeah, and I just wanted to talk about this because this is AMC's revenues, not profits, it's just like the money cycle through the whole
before
company.
Expenses for all of you non-accountant majors out there.
And
right?
Yeah, it's like the profit would be like if you take
After.
the revenues and minus expenses.
Okay.
And do the whole balance sheet process. But this graph highlights, you can
look
see
at the dip during COVID.
Right. It just was shut down for a whole year and had no money. And that's where all the debt came from. And now it's recovered. And then they're just going to be like, oh, it's a horrible company. And it's like, no, it had 1 year that it now has to do a lot of work to fix. But it was like not even the company's fault. And then so like you look at companies.
Natural causes, right?
It's about company management. So AMC has survived already, while Bed Bath & Beyond type management would have already just ran this company to the ground during COVID. Like, and then the fact that it bounced back, it's just insane. That's why this play is like legendary, because this stock graph is now the staple of what fraud looks like, because this is what the graph looks like, and this is what we've been dealing with.
It's right, like, and it's like totally making
on
money and money. It's doing great, and yet they say it's like a dying company.
Right. So all AMC
does that look like a dying company to you? Is it doing the same as?
And they've increased their concession revenue, their ticket revenue, and now since COVID, they finally got all these movies ready to release. So they're about to get that revenue, and it's just going to cover that hole up that you're looking at right there. Like it wasn't a problem anymore. And then all of a sudden AMC is nowhere close to bankruptcy whatsoever, just like GameStop. So like AMC has that going for them in a momentum way.
So that's
while
where
GameStop out here, like, look at our big badass balance sheet. They don't even have to have momentum because they just like already got to the safety spot about it. So like while GameStop could cause the Gamma to like lift AMC, and then AMC can sell share prices at a better price. And so I could elaborate on Gamma. That's like forces that you can see and describe, like if the company's earnings, or like fear of missing out where people are buying in, and like a trend of high volume pushing the price up over time, like things like that. It's called Gamma. It's like a tsunami, kind of like the shape of a tsunami. It's like if the water all recedes, it's like a bump, and then like the height of the water, and it's like it's called Gamma because like that's generally the shape of you can look at AMC statistics and you see like short interest and failure to delivers all like spike, and it's that shape of a graph, like a bump, and then it just stays up. It's like a new plateau for the data. And then that's why Gamma forces are strong, because it's not like a short squeeze where it goes up and back down. It's like when it goes up, it just stays up there. And so I think all of High Crop Mining's silver squeeze that just happened 1,000% was like all Gamma. So it's just gonna stay up.
Okay,
Like
I'm gonna
royalties.
ask. Okay, this is fun. I want to screen share Highcroft in a second. But I do want to ask like a question that probably will make. Why did they sell HYMC moments before freaking it went crazy?
Okay. AMC is doing its own hedging too. So yes, AMC sold a
Look at it. Okay, I'm so
AMC
excited.
was holding
Look at this.
that part.
AMC owns a bunch of this company.
That's a giant cup and handle for me, which it
Right.
goes up afterwards. So right. And you can see it's not a natural cup and handle. Like, and just that little move you're highlighting right there at the end, that's 1,000% gain.
Yeah, you own it.
So yes, AMC ended up
And
selling
AMC owns
some of its large position. It owned 22% of the whole company. But I think what's going on here that Adam Aaron can't talk about is this was a private deal with Eric Sprott, the owner of HYMC. And now he has a very large position, has become very powerful very quickly. And if he is a partner of AMC, this is good because AMC is holding millions of warrants for this company.
Oh.
And that's where it ties into the Bed Bath & Beyond merger and GameStop as a hedge. So they can't manipulate with level 2 if they're all holding warrants.
I'm like, by the way,
And
look at
it's
AMC.
the same
It
thing
was
as the
freaking
Bitcoin hedge. And so AMC sold the shares probably based on the non-material public information, because if it's holding warrants and they know what's about to happen, and they're still holding some shares, and they already sold enough shares to make their original investment back. So basically, they're holding millions of free warrants. It was such a good deal for AMC. And yes, they only made like
that's where the
$20
haters are
million,
hating.
but that's a lot of
The haters
cash.
are hating because they're like, oh, he sold it, but it might be because of all of the secret thing. There's non-public secret that he knows.
You have to think outside the box.
You got to
if
think
there's
I'm in the
non-public
box.
information, then is what the media telling
I'm
you
like, look at
just
freaking
straight
AMC,
back?
by the way.
Probably not. There's things we don't know, and if you can follow logic through like strings of events, like
Right.
AMC had an interview with no pants on, so like probably naked shorts is still in the equation. And so
Right.
like what the media says now can't be true because they just make the opposite assumption, like that doesn't happen. Well, it does. So probably what's happening within the company is closer to the truth than what the media is saying. And then
Yeah.
he already came out and said like that he's got a gag order kind of. So like it just, the writing's on the walls about it, and the graphs look like they do. Yeah, so now you're looking at GameStop.
This was the day. These are when Roaring Kitty came back and he started tweeting all that stuff, and then this is the day that
Not
he went
even
on YouTube.
probably.
Do you like
that's
when we
when
can look at the
leverage
chart and
broke.
know exactly what it is?
That's when leverage broke, and then they just planned for Roaring Kitty to be doing it that time. It was all he's part of the stunt now, but like he's still with the movement, not like an insider, but like he has non-public material information, so he has to behave a certain way with all his money. So he can't just like, oh, I'm buying more options. Let me tell everyone again. Like, and now we're all smart, so like he can't do that now. He definitely could not. He would.
But it's like, how in the world? I'm like, how in the world
that.
are they? Like, look at this. Like, use your mind right now, anybody. How is this company freaking $9 billion up? Cut their expenses by 98%. This insane fan base, and yet they're still at freaking like $20. Like, it doesn't make any sense on like a logical sense why this price is here, and that's how you know. I mean,
That's why we have two markets right now, because we have like legacy 401ks and pensions all at the top, teetering on collapse while they can unleverage, and then you got the new money where young people just dumping money into this company, and then this company becoming awesome. So like eventually, the son gets strong enough to overthrow his dad, is what I'm saying about it. So it's like not that apes ever bought these companies to like, let's throw the market long term.
No.
But it's like, wait a minute, something fishy's going on here, and there's opportunity to make money. And then come to find out, oh, this is how banks just screwed everyone and like took all the money. And then this is why Epstein files exist, so they can just run a bunch of narratives that are not this. They would much rather people talk about pedophilia and yada yada, because pedophilia is probably like 2% of the Epstein files. And while yes, bad. Dude, naked shorts appear in the Epstein file so many times. It's definitely the operation. Like, it's all follow the money.
A different type of naked.
Blackmail, rigging, and control.
Really quick.
Enslavement, mass enslavement.
So this is 750 years of financial fiascos.
And the market value over that time.
Like, yeah, I don't even freaking understand this at all. So do you want to just give a couple pointers on this and then we'll go back to the questions and we'll get through those and then I'll get through my specific questions and then, yeah.
Yes, I'm going to actually take this opportunity to read part of the DD I have right here.
Ooh, okay. Author audiobook.
Yeah, so right at the beginning, I talk about the image I made. I said I ran this through AI. I've developed this image using color coding and font scheme, grouping, and market mechanics. The scale of humanity and leverage instruments, organizations, fundamentals, social and political risks. Symbol. I'm explaining the graph, but then at the end of it, before I jump in, I say, I included the emoji timeline for Roaring Kitty, and you know what? Oh, yes, the last part where I talk about, please be familiar with the Panama Papers, the Epstein files, and have a good understanding of major historical events like Watergate, Titanic, 9/11, etc., and disasters within the last 500 years. And I included that graphic because, like, you can kind of see how trends and events
This ain't the first
correlate.
rodeo.
Okay, so then, yeah, and then a lot of the comments were just like someone would be like,
you used AI. I'm
like
bored.
Someone would use a good comment like, wow, thanks for posting actual DD. And then like the FUD people will come on it and be like, but did you research disasters in the last 500 years? Like they talk shit on everything. They try to undermine my whole paper with like that kind of a comment. And it's like, all I was doing was highlighting a correlation, and it's along with all this other stuff, but they didn't even read the paper, right?
Right. So this is basically just saying, like, here's all the other times in the past that like finance was skewed and colluded and since the
had a
freaking
direct
1200s.
correlation with socio-political events, like geopolitical and fiscal alignment. This is the graph of it, and then you can see where the Fed came in and where it skews up sharper, even harder. And since 2021, which is not even included on this, it just skewed up even harder. So it's like,
yeah, you're right,
approaching the top of unsustainability fast, abroad as a macro thing. And then GameStop just worked nothing here on the bottom. So I think that whole green Fed part of this graph, like, we're going to retract that. So we're going to lose like 100 years of US dollar value on this correction and go back to like 1920, because that was like when the Fed was created and it just been complete fraud since, and it got this big. And when corrections happen, that's how far these big inflated institutions are going to fall, because there's no stability, and Wyckoff statistics suggest that there's not going to be any support. So the market crash is going to be big for a lot of these companies, while GameStop and AMC just absolutely explode in their face. Right. And I was telling you, AMC can already times 7,000 and it will still be smaller than NVIDIA.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, at the same time, they're not like doing the same things, but also NVIDIA is like totally overinflated. And I've even heard stuff about how NVIDIA is like, some of their, like, one, you already said, like, there's like 7 companies feeding them. And then 2, like, a lot of their like reason for scarcity is like NVIDIA is putting chips into its own nonprofit.
And I mean this, and like, I know they're different companies, but I mean it as like, if Volkswagen squeezed in 2008, it kind of set a precedent. And then if NVIDIA's worth $5 trillion today, it sets the new benchmark. So like, what's possible in this market can be a company going over $5 trillion during a short squeeze.
Wow.
And not that they would squeeze that high. There's like geometric mean thing. Like, I think.
But it will like squeeze and sustain. I just don't see how like it won't like stay up after at least. Like,
right. I think it's going to like
GameStop
have a lot of gamma. So it's going to be like.
Right. Exactly.
Now I know you're going to AMC's $1 and say it squeezes to 10,000 just for like easy math. And then it might like fall back down to 1,000.
Yeah.
And then stay at 1,000. But that 10,000 is going to be short covering, some apes selling. But then once it hits 1,000, goes back to 1,000. Now it's a strong fundamental company, so it might just like slowly go back up.
Like Tesla, a mix of VW and then Tesla.
It's going to be both. It's going to be like a Volkswagen squeeze and a Tesla squeeze, because like all the market mechanics come together when the baskets rip open, because they've consolidated 6 to 8 debt leverages each in baskets. And I'm talking about the arbitrage, the spoofing, the payment for order flow. Like, all of those are like now basket oriented. and they can't just unravel those any longer.
Yeah.
So they've closed the door behind them on their commitment to this plan of action, and then it got locked in with like legacy short movements and AMC and GameStop, and now just they have to stay the course, even if they're like, yeah, we're definitely dead. Like it's a ship going off the cliff, and they can't do anything now. They already
Wow.
set
So
the
that's like
sail.
that's literally what we're watching right now is them just like awaiting the inevitable and putting it off.
Yeah, and then those who are like I'm still buying more. It sucks to be 5 years later, and I thought like I could have maybe already quit my day job by now about it based on what I understood.
Yeah.
But I still understand that I'll be quitting my day job soon about it, and I'm willing to do what that takes, because if that's my part, it's like, I don't know, like I'm a God-fearing man, and I don't like go to church all the time, but I feel like if I have a purpose here and like this is what I'm involved in,
Yeah.
I have no regrets at all. Like, and
Yeah.
is in the retirement scheme, if I'm supposed to retire at 65 on average or whatever, they're making it worse now.
Right.
They're gonna have to replace a lot of these young people who just leave the workforce. But
Right. YouTubing all day.
so I'm just doing my part. So like I'm
Yeah.
happy that I was able to buy this much shares. I never thought I would be able to have just thousands and thousands of these shares in 2021, because I didn't yet. And seeing GameStop at $500 that day on January 28th, and then what was starting in AMC, it was just so FOMO. Like, and like, while market may have FOMO a lot, it was like that's why a whole new generation just like got involved.
Yeah.
It was like, what?
Obsessed.
Like, I've been working for $7 an hour, and I could have just 250 times my money in a week. What?
Right.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Wow. And GameStop became that. So now it's 5 years later, and that's just even stronger. So like, there's no way out for banks here. But we can move into any other questions while we keep looking at this stuff.
Yeah, I have like a few more questions if you want. Would you do you want to like just like kind of I'm like, oh my God, I feel like we still haven't even gone through like even half of my questions. So maybe we can have a second meeting sometime again.
Yeah, my YouTube video about this was 8 hours long, because there's not really a way to get through all of it with less time.
Right.
It's
That's
just so
like
much
the way we're headed
information
right
to
now.
connect.
So maybe I'll get through some more questions, and then I did actually have some like really like some serious questions I wanted to ask you that I'm curious about myself.
Sure.
We'll go through a couple more one-on-one questions. Okay, so maybe we could talk about like actually I feel like we should say BBBYQ for another time. Or do you want to talk about it really quickly?
Well, I think we hit a lot of the main points. A lot of that's going on with the Chapter 11 merger.
Like basically, well, I'm like basically what like people started recognizing the same things were going on with BBYQ. Like at least for me, I was like, this sounds like the same situation.
So Ryan Cohen already had like associations with the company when it was getting delisted.
Yeah, he's
then
not
he was doing like graph arbitrage shapes and stuff before it was seller boxed. So,
well, it went bankrupt, but now, like yesterday, their bonds went up, or 2 days ago, their bonds went up 1,500%.
Right, and then
so what is going on?
These are bonds that are like privately issued, and so it's like background mechanics of the market. It's like when some fake stock no one ever heard of pumps 1,500%. Like, it's mechanisms for arbitrage, and so notably also DJT, that the Donald Trump's company stock. It's kind of seeing the same thing that AMC is seeing, where it's just getting pushed down and keeps exploding. And he noted naked short selling already on it. So like, that's a part of like his outlying, because while he may have like political ties and he's all over the Epstein files and whatnot, that's like the propaganda part of what's going on. But if there was something they could have stuck to him, they would have already stuck it to him. But it's like, yeah, he had 34 felonies or something last year, but it was all like processing type thing, like litigation, and not that he's not like guilty of crimes or whatever, but it's like when you're at the corporate level, and if the market is as bad as it is, everyone's paying fines for crimes for everything, and like he
Right.
might be operating a business as morally impossible within those parameters, and it just still end up with 34 felonies. So I want to see how many felonies like Robin Hood would end up with if he was put on the same thing, because then that's where it's going to be like, oh, Donald Trump had 34 felonies in this context, but then Robin Hood had like 10,000 in this context, and it's like, oh, probably one of them was not doing the same work as the other one, and like, so we're like maleficent action show over time. And then look, Donald J. Trump stock just went down this whole time with meme stocks, but
Right.
then Robin Hood's price 10x,
Right.
and it's like,
And freaking Reddit's IPO and all this crazy stuff. Okay.
yeah, that part.
So-
it's like,
I think I want to ask you like one more big question, then I want to go into my specific questions, and then we'll wrap it up. Like, so I don't know, it might be a little bit longer, but and then next time we meet, we can go more into 101 of other stuff. But this is like a huge question. What do you feel like is going on with the bankrupt Bed Bath & Beyond, BBBYQ, which I own shares, you own shares, they disappeared. What do you think's going on, and what do you think the future holds with that company for someone that like literally doesn't know anything about it?
right. So I think all of like the commercial leases and stuff were cut, and then that's where they'll say like, oh, the company's dead, because like it kind of ceased.
Which is crazy because they were making billions in their final year. Like, again, all
Yeah,
this
but they
manufactured
kinda, like,
dead
went bankrupt
companies.
after the COVID mandates too. So it's like what AMC was facing similarly. And then so they had to shut down all their stores and not make money. So they were like, no, we're going to just close all our stores because we can just sell on the internet or whatever. And then like there's countless examples of companies who can run an online retailer successfully. And so while the company declared bankruptcy, it was a specific kind of bankruptcy, category G, chapter 11. So you can look that up and it talks about the details, but basically the company is going to have its assets stripped and valuated. And what that does is leave negative equity on the table under like the ticker, like where the business is secured. And so that's where you're going to get like, if someone goes in and buys the dead company for $300 million, but they had debt obligations that got like wiped in the bankruptcy proceedings or closed, but they had it to like the tune of like $2 billion or whatever, those are going to be like tax write-offs. So
Right, they're going to get all these tax write-offs
to save $2 billion on taxes. So it's basically
you're going to pay $300 million to save $2
$2
billion on taxes. So a company could get that and then have $2 billion in taxes that they get to write off for years.
That GameStop would be looking at, because if it just made a bunch of cash, they're going to want to protect.
And
that
they were
cash.
looking at it before.
And if they have a $2 billion tax break, that's going to be good news. And then it's just going to help force their gamma price target at $32. And then they're probably going to hit some AI acquisitions that are like cheap startups that have been doing groundbreaking work. I've seen a lot of people posting on like what they speculate, but I don't think they're going to merge with a big company like eBay or AMC, because both those companies have a lot of debt. And while eBay would make GameStop a lot bigger and good for electronic commerce, eBay has debt, and GameStop doesn't want to throw its strength with the best balance sheet on picking up a bunch of debt from another company and then facing scrutiny and then market maneuvers about it. They would attack GameStop so hard for like gaining debt. But then you
maybe
can
an alternate timeline.
You can see the hypocrisy here too, because eBay has $8 billion in debt, more than AMC, but yet it has a $40 billion market cap right now, while AMC has not even $1 billion, like with like similar debt loads. It's just the hypocrisy is insane. Meanwhile, Netflix is just worth a ton, and Cinemark, which no one's even talking about, is worth a ton. It just okay, sure.
So what do you think is going to happen with BBBYQ? You think, and what do you think is going on? Oh, and then tell me what you think is going on with Beyond right now too. That's like the wildest. This is like, what the fact that Beyond owns T0, like Beyond,
right? Just remember it's
T0. Like what? Like a towel company owns the future stock market. What? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
so if you look up Overstock's history, right, we got short squeeze history on the table. We got GameStop CEO who has already been in cahoots with Bed Bath & Beyond about buying shares and selling them. And then now it's a potential merger. And then we got Bed Bath & Beyond, GameStop, and AMC holding warrants and AMC has warrants in High Crop Mining, which is so awesome because if they're betting on silver, they're right.
Dude, silver's got nowhere to go but up for a long time. I was researching that. Like, I mean, like, even on a logistical point, I mean, it's going to be freaking months or years till anything's resolved.
So holding these warrants, especially with killing that level 2 leverage that I was talking about, that it's just so good that AMC is doing this because, like, it's cutting off banks' leverage and positioning AMC to have warrants, which are already in the money. They can execute the warrants for $10 per share while they have, so they can go in and buy a bunch of shares for $10.
Oh, when would this
it's worth like 50 right now, but it's
because they don't have any cash right now to literally buy them. I mean, they could, but that would be like, you know.
So they're just holding the warrants and they can just like buy it later when the stock price go up a little bit. Like, we can play the waiting game.
When do the warrants expire? Don't GameStop's warrants expire in October?
Yeah, but all of these warrants have, like, they can be extended. So,
by you and me, by AMC, or does it have to be done by HYMC?
I think each one has different stipulations. Like GameStop's, I think Ryan Cohen has like the executive call.
Right.
AMC is more subject to like shareholder scrutiny and like SEC management just because of its debt load. So it's like qualifies under different restrictions since it's operating on borrowed money with debt. Yeah. It's like, so they can't just like do things. They can't do certain things. But GameStop can just do whatever it wants now because it's cash. So like no one can claim it. But someone could claim like, oh, AMC made $4 billion.
Wait. Okay, so what do you think?
$4 billion.
So again, Beyond right now is like being led by Marcus Lemonis, and it's the former Overstock, and Overstock was CEO'd by Patrick Byrne, who got called a crazy person, but actually it's because he was calling out all this stuff. He was like the OG of calling out all this kind of stuff. So like, number one, that history is so insane. And then the shell is like, I mean, it's so freaking hard to summarize, but like, what do you think's gonna, I don't know, like, just what do you think would happen here in the future with these companies? And then also GameStop and tied into that. Dude, hindsight is 2020. I can't wait.
Bathway, bro. Like
Gameshire Bathway.
It just, GameStop is a holding company. It's already, it can buy securities. It can make investments. It's
the only thing stopping us, it's just time. We've just got time to wait.
It's got the brand name. It's literally got everything a company would ever need to.
So you think GameStop's acquiring the shell? You think GameStop's going to acquire BBBYQ, the shell, and then use those Knowles, the net operating?
I think it's going to acquire other companies too.
Yeah. Let's see.
And also, there's a weird correlation here. Private company Lego.
Oh yeah. I've seen a lot about that.
They keep posting like weirdly related things to like all this like.
But one time I went to the licensing expo in Las Vegas, and I talked to the Lego people, and I said, "Is GameStop gonna buy you guys?" And they're like, "What? No, we're privately owned."
No, I don't think GameStop will buy Lego, but I think Lego as a private company is sitting here saying like, MOASS is on the horizon. MOASS is on the horizon. MOASS
what do they have to do with it? What do they have to do with it? Are they going to sell part of their company? Oh my God. Let's see. I'm so
they might have a partnership here.
I'm waiting.
Because if GameStop's dealing collectibles, Legos are collectibles, dude.
True.
Probably Hot Wheels is on the table.
Ooh.
Collectibles. GameStop going to be dealing in collectibles as a holding company long term. So now we're looking at expanding from cards after they've already completely sanctioned the card market and bought out PSA grading. Like this company is so strong, and if they make the right acquisitions here, it's just going to be so wonderful. Like, I don't know how to say it without like getting excited because
I know
this really is groundbreaking. No, Nvidia not about to gobble up a bunch of its competitors right now because most of them are private companies that are competing with Nvidia. While Nvidia's revenues are like kind of tied to the government and the shuffle of the hot potato with the other big seven. So, while I think NVIDIA will survive like the market purge here, the collapse, but I think it will see a significant reduction in its share value, at least temporarily, while like the market makes room for
People
some
need
of
to
these
freaking like sell stuff to
new squeezed price securities. Yeah,
Okay.
if GameStop gonna be is that big in the market soon, the market's got to make room for it. So
Right.
just the
I guess
logic
so.
dictates, like, it's not a market where everyone can be a winner, and it never will be. And so it's not like
But
the
the
market's
common
gonna
person is
go
going
up.
to be the winner now. The common.
The market can't just go up forever. GameStop going to
Obsessed.
make a bunch more money soon, and it's going to not make sense to keep it down. And then that's the leverage that's going to break stupidity. And then all of a sudden, a massive correction going to happen. Everyone's going to be shocked.
Okay, let's get into when I was reading your DD, when I was preparing for this, I came up with a couple of questions. So let's get into those, and then we'll be done for today. But it's a handful, but we won't go through them too long.
You're good.
Okay, question number. Oh, if the squeeze is inevitable, why hasn't it happened for 5 years? And I'm like, by the way, I really feel like two things, like either one, some crazy thing's going to happen and things are going to just start spiking up and then it'll be uncontrollable, or fundamentals, or AMC's just going to be paying off debt. GameStop's going to become more awesome.
Well, I would say it's all of that. Like, it is happening. Big things are happening. We're going to a war in Iran. Companies are reestablishing themselves. It's all of it, because like, it's not one piece pushing this thing. It's all of the pieces coming together to make this company too heavy for banks to keep holding up.
Where is Citadel getting the money to keep delaying? And I guess all the market makers. Is it mostly Citadel delaying?
When Citadel sells bonds, the Fed can just print a bunch of money and then give it to Citadel to buy bonds as a loan, or the Fed can be buying bonds. So you can see correlation between like the Fed reverse repossessions, like went up billions of dollars, and then it's like Ken Griffin's taking out billions of dollars in loans or selling bonds. And the bonds, it's like credit. So like, if I buy a government bond, it's because I have faith the government will do good things in that time period I'm going to hold the bond for. So if I'm holding it for a year, 10 years, whatever. And so with Citadel selling bonds while its credit rating just been going down and down and down and down, it's I don't know who's buying those bonds, because if they are, they're dumb, in my opinion. But I think it's just part of the government bailout while the system makes room for GameStop. Like I said, if it happened in 2021, it would have destroyed everything and been a black hole in the market where it wouldn't have even survived itself, because the US dollar would die. But now the US dollar been printed enough where silver is getting re-sanctioned. And so like when it does happen, there's going to be assets to back it. And the DOJ can finally move in with the SEC and start stripping the collateral from like the people that they're going after. So it just takes a long time to put the case together and let the business develop, and consistency over time. There's a lot of things that are playing into why this has lasted so long. I thought it would initially be quicker too, but it makes sense.
We've learned a lot, and I'm grateful for all I've learned. And old Kelly wouldn't handle the money and this opportunity and even be patient, and like current modern day me with all I've learned.
Just the logic's still there. Every time I see some new article, like some dumb shit happened today, and I'm like, yeah, of course that happened. And we're still waiting for like significant rate cuts, and Jerome Powell's going to get out soon. And that's going to be part of the next part here, where it's just going to force more collateral arbitrage covering and the unwinding of things like the carry trades and ETF baskets and fraud. So we got a lot to look forward to.
So would you say that right now it's kind of a bit of a Ponzi scheme?
Oh yeah, the whole market. They wouldn't have 20,000 publicly traded companies where 19,000 of them were fake if it was an actual market. The 19,000 companies just wouldn't exist, and there would just be real companies to choose.
Dude, and that's the risk of like, freaking talking to financial advisors or whatever, and then they're like, oh, I'll put in this mutual fund, and then there's like,
The problem with that is they're basically running the Holocaust today. And I say that in a way where it's like all the soldiers in the Holocaust weren't just like, let's just kill a bunch of people because we're evil and like killing people. It's like, no, they're just doing their job. And now bankers just claim like, oh, I'm just doing my job, taking all these people's houses and hoarding wealth. So it's like there's a policy of immorality that gets woven into the core of
you're like, oh, buy into this stuff, and then you can get better investments, and you're like screwing over everybody else just to get yourself up.
The insurance
That's
broker
why I
who
changed my investing style. I was like, done.
Dude, that's why Luigi happened to the CEO of healthcare. It's like that CEO of healthcare selling insurance to people for years and years and years, and then inflated insurance rate, and he just taking them. He doesn't see anything wrong with that. He just have a good life, and he's selling insurance that people need, and it's legal. It's like, no, dude, it's like insurance to become its own bubble, and then propagated by that kind of playing, because it's late stage capitalism. It's just like what happens, and their morals get disconnected from what is the job as political candidates get bought out, and then new policy supports criminals only. It's the same thing with porn being APAC's largest donor. It's like
insane. That's insane. The fact that they're
whole thing
advertising
is
in games, the fact that porn, OnlyFans is in games right now is insane and so predatory.
Yeah, dude, like probably 10-year-olds are finding that, like, and it's just
And
like spammed
like,
everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, I want to get into some specific AMC questions. How much debt have they paid off so far since 2020 when they had to take on debt? They started with $8 billion, right? Or $9 billion?
They had like a couple different forms of debt. Yeah, so like through their deals and stuff, like it's like between 4 and 8 billion. But so they paid off a bunch of it, and they've taken on some new debt too. But a lot of that had to do with like refinancing deals and managing survival. That's what's happening. That's why the ape unit was released when it was, because if the reverse split should have raised AMC's price so it could have dilute at a better price, but we voted no, and then so they had to put the ape unit on the table to survive. And that's why, while it hurt apes that were holding it at the time, because like we lost value, and then it created a lower price so we could buy back in a lower price and restore our value if you still believe in the company, which is what I'm doing. But then the bears will like hate that because that's the long-term strategy. But if the company doesn't survive, the whole company collapse. And then now, since they issued the ape unit, which was a form of dilution, that wasn't direct dilution, so we didn't technically vote no to have ape unit created and then be a secondary dilutive unit. It was too complicated.
This is insane here. Do you see this right here under 2024 when it shows like whatever this is, where it shows like a huge spike? Like, I mean, it's so tiny on my screen.
The volume or what?
Yeah, there's like a huge spike right there, but nothing in the price.
Yeah. So if you think about it, this has almost come full circle for AMC. In 2021, they had 500 million shares, and then they did a reverse split and an ape unit and went down to like less than 500 million. And now they've diluted a bunch, and we're back to 500 million again, but stronger because we're 5 years longer survived while legacy shorts have been stuck under it. So when AMC issued that ape unit, and it kind of like countered the reverse split effect on the stock price, so it didn't go up too high where they were able to dilute it at a better price, but it was still enough to survive and good for creditors, because creditors were seeing, oh, AMC will definitely survive no matter what. They see what it's up against because they're on the inside, but they're not operating on a public disclosure basis either. So while private lenders loaning big figures like $4 to $8 billion to AMC would need to be operating on that insider information to make the decisions that they have up to this point. So like the business wouldn't have got here how it is right now if there weren't a lot of people behind the scenes that have faith in this recovery. It just wouldn't. It would already declare bankruptcy with the way that the seller box. And then now, yes, we only have, AMC has around $500 million to cash burn right now before it's hit zero. And that's not a lot. But if our revenues have balanced out where our net losses are near zero now, we can sit on $500 million and maintain operations. So now we're looking at creating profitability. And GameStop was here at a point before with less debt load, but that's something that after we make a bunch of cash, we could just take care of. And then the debt load won't outweigh extreme fundamentals like once gamma forces and FOMO and like the breakout starts to occur like in AMC. So I think a lot of dilution will happen at that time into the squeeze, and then it's going to like remove AMC's debt. And then if that doesn't create one more cycle or part of this as part of the Sega, it's either going to be the squeeze or a large gamma move, because in one of the older DDs I did, right when I bought this stock in 2021, it kind of looked like 3 cycles were playing out. And then 2 of them did. That's why AMC went in January and then again in May. And then the third one that was kind of building just got pushed into the rug and then reverse split instead during the timeline that should have happened. So it pushed off the third gamma move, which is why when it squeezed to 1,000 and come back down to 1,000, the 1,000 level that'll come back down to is probably the third gamma level. For just easy numbers, I use 1,000 when it comes back down from the squeeze. So if it squeezes higher, then it comes back down. That's why it's like 4 moves, 3 gamma moves, and then 1 like squeeze to account for covering. And that's how I calculated the share price based on like short interest and volume, and then the company's valuation over time, comparing it amongst broader companies and how they're valued, and then how the laws have changed over time regarding the valuation of companies. So in 2021, I pinned the AMC share price where if it was supply and demand and market fundamentals at play and short closing based on the amount of short interest that was represented and based on the nature of how GameStop started squeezing during the time based on the market setup, AMC could have hit around $6,300 per share. And then that's why people were holding up to $72 because like the statistics said it would just go way higher than 72. Right. And then a reverse split later, now it says like 720 on the graph. And it's like funny how these numbers start lining up later. And so then you can take a step back. And while it was a reverse split that caused those numbers to change, if a company is doing better than it was 5 years ago, it will probably retest the same price level. And
if it's doing better, if it's doing just as good / better as it was before COVID, and now with a more insane fan base.
Highcroft Mining got pushed from $100 down to 1, and now it's back up at 50. Like AMC is going to do the same thing. It's holding Highcroft warrants. I can't wait to make so much money on this. And I just want to do better things and like live the life that I deserve to live, not like to be stuck in a day job for 60 hours a week and counting because retirement's getting thinner. It doesn't make sense until it does. And that's why the FUD can be so strong, because if there's a process where it takes 5 years for the truth to come out, they have 5 years to build momentum on a lie. And when it seems like it could be true, it's like hard to.
And we have 5 years to build understanding and conviction on the truth. So.
Exactly. But then they went and like banned everyone who cares from the internet. So the big wasteland of idiots left almost, minus like the few people who can like squeeze through whatever cracks still exist.
I'm like, but by the way, are you able to see? Okay, I feel like I'm losing a little bit of my steam and passion, excitement, because we've been talking almost 3 hours.
I hear you.
So I think we should meet again soon to keep going through. We really didn't even get through half of my questions. If you want to, we can talk again. And
sure.
I feel like maybe people will be interested, because I don't mean to be that guy, but we do have over 100 people watching right now.
Oh, whoa, that grew a lot. Well,
I know.
Like any feedback we get, we can like discuss like important points. But if you have more questions about like the thesis that I posted, a lot of people can just go view the thesis and kind of like plug in what they know to it and like see where they sit. Because like I say, like MOASS is happening definitively because I believe it is going to happen. So like I do believe there are mechanisms that would prevent it for however long, where like I could die first or some other plan.
Right.
But, so that's why this isn't like investment advice, but it's like we're offering the facts here, this discussion about like the development of what's already happened, and then like you do you with your portfolio.
Yeah, just like that's my thought, is like I feel like in this whole kind of situation, there's like again, it's like I don't know if you guys like, I mean, Devin, you're like literally so smart, and I understand like 50 to 80% of what you say, but never 100%. And that's really how a lot of people feel about all this stuff. And I feel like you can go on like Twitter and everyone's talking like about the most complicated parts of this. And it's really hard to find that middle ground of like what is going on here. And so that's kind of my
I just feel like
I couldn't
be a certified financial advisor today, because like
a bridge.
they would only hire me to commit fraud. So if I'm like, oh,
That's what I'm saying.
let's look at actual assets, they would be like, no, you're not doing the job. So I'm not even like trying to give unlicensed financial advice. It more just like,
here's what's going on, and it's fascinating
to it. Like, I'm just going to tell people about my own decisions and why. And then like, so it's like the only way apes can move forward in this environment when everything's scrutinized and monitored and changed before it hits the public screen. So like, if you have any other final questions or wrap up things, but
I have a wrap up. Okay, just because I know
talked a lot anyway, we could do another one of these, or
I would literally love to. I would love to
snip some of these videos and post them wherever if you need it for context and stuff.
Both. I want to snip some of these, make them into videos. I would love to meet again and talk through more of this. And yeah, I just have a outro video because I feel like this has been so awesome. If I was like, I hardly would want it to end if I was watching this. So I have my outro video of some of the amazing songs I've written about stocks over the freaking past few years for either classes or passion. So that's really all I've got. And I just think we can talk again, get more into specifics, more about some of these businesses. And if anyone has any questions, write them in the comments. I'll be able to see. I haven't even looked at any of the comments yet from this whole time. I don't know if there are any. I don't think so because I think it shows up automatically. But you guys like thumbs up it if you enjoyed it and leave comments or questions. And I don't know. That's all I have to say about that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, thanks for everyone for tuning in.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, Devin. I mean, it's so cool to talk about all this with someone who super understands it. And this is such great information. I just feel like there's few better things you could be doing with your time than learning about our financial history. Like literally.
I said at the beginning, like I'm a musician, so it's ironic that I just end up spending so much time learning stocks, like jump into the rabbit hole, reach the bottom, like look down every crevice along the way. And then
that's what I'm saying. I'm like the last person.
And poke your head out and you're like, hey, it's deep in here. Like no one else has been to the bottom of the rabbit hole. So it's hard to iterate what you just saw down there. And so, yeah, I want to get back to like what I like to do, but this is the fight that I end up in about it. So yeah, it's,
I'm like, what in the world? You like so casually became a financial genius. Like you're like, oh, I wish I was going back to writing music, but I guess I'll have to learn to freaking
I'm just the
derivatives.
I can't accept information until I know why and where it came from and how, because like I'm that kind of a thinker. And then so like that's how I ended up in the rabbit hole, because as soon as something didn't make sense to me, I'm like, well, let me just figure out why. And then here I am all this deep later because they're trying to remove logic from the like the schools have all been bought out by these same billionaires, and they're just teaching like critical race theory now and gender equality, and that like this is horrible. We should be doing like actual important things like learning about finances and like
cooking,
how the world works,
nutrition,
and like survival skills.
Yeah.
And being nice to
Harmony.
people. Like it's wild what's incentivized right now. And I want to live in a better world. So I'm going to do my part of that. And that's what these companies kind of became about, because while like I bought in to make money, I still want to make money because like that's freedom to me based on how I understand things. Like I can't go do what I want unless I have money. And it's like
right. And like change the world, make amazing businesses, be taken seriously, get into partnerships. Like,
but I should not be able to disenfranchise a whole generation of people's 401ks with one little stock play. And then because that opportunity is on the table, it just highlights bigger, badder problems. So we can kind of like, that's how we're discussing those. But then it's hard to think about like, wow, I just listened to all this stuff and it seems overwhelming. What can I do as a little person to make any kind of difference whatsoever? And
keep learning.
Yeah, it's
learning. Naturally.
And us coming together beats all the narratives, because like they want division, and then if we all just stand up holding hands, they're gonna be like, damn, all our effort didn't work, and then they're paying interest on that effort that didn't work, and they collapse harder. And all we can do is win if we are together. So
yeah, I love it. I don't know. I feel like there was one other thing I was gonna say, but we've said plenty. Well,
this could be a double length video, so we can reflect on it and get back to me with like what you think after some time, and we'll just like go from there. We can move forward.
It'd be amazing. I feel like lots of people would be really interested. We have so much to talk about, and it's only the beginning. And then as stuff starts happening, I mean, I can't even figure. I don't even know what the future holds. It's gonna be so fascinating seeing like the other moves they make, and when all this starts coming together. Oh, that's the thing I was gonna say is I'm always hollering at GameStop like, you guys need to make educational games cool. But then the more I look into it in like the real world, it's like such a system, and there's like curriculum. Well, anyway, all this stuff, it's like it's all tied together, and the entire systems and entire mainstream, everything needs to change in the world to become like
the psychology's there too, like because if people play video games, they might be looking for a release from most of that stuff, so they're like education isn't their first priority.
But also the game, there's no business model behind it. Like anyway, I researched this a lot. We can get into it another time. But it's not even as simple as you think. It's like actually way worse than
it never is as simple as you think. It just everything is interconnected and
yeah. But it's so great to talk about. It's so fun to talk about. I love it. And yeah, thanks so much. Thanks so much for your time. This was really awesome.
Yeah, you're welcome. We'll be in touch. I'm gonna hop out of here, but
okay. All right. Thanks you guys so much.
To you.
You too. And thanks guys so much for being here. I'm gonna put on a little jam for you guys because I know it's sad to say goodbye. I am not one that loves to say goodbyes. So I'm going to play my intro songs for you all again. It's a 15-minute soundtrack. So thank you so much for joining. Enjoy the music and like this stuff so we can get Devin to come back. I have at least one other person I would love to talk with and learn from. One of the whistleblowers of MMTLP. One of the first stocks. This stock's insane, by the way. I'm like, by the way, I'll just talk to you guys. That was insane, by the way. Like, I hardly even understand. That's why I would love to talk to someone who like literally knows it well. I'm like, okay, guys, I'm gonna talk to you for an hour now, but really, I won't. But maybe like 5 more minutes. But this stock was so insane. If you guys like, so much of this stuff, there's nowhere to begin though. There's nowhere to begin and like learn about it. But MMTLP. It's like a stock that everyone was talking about and people bought into it, and then later it was supposed to switch into like a different version, and then instead of switching for a different version, like I guess it shouldn't have even been trading. It just disappeared. Like all these people put money into it and then it disappeared, and like for no good reason. And then there's all this proof that like it was like all collusion, and like now the like all these everyone's like fighting against it, and they're like no, we don't want it to come out, all these banks and stuff. So there's just like a number of things. This is the thing, there's a number of stocks now and a number of companies that like people are catching like that's effed up, that's sketchy, and then it's like now that people are like turning stock like rabbit holes into a hobby in the masses. Like they can't get away with all these schemes that they've been doing for so long. And so that's kind of really what's going on, is now it's like one thing after the other, and soon the dam's going to break, I think. I mean, we'll see. I'm not a fortune teller, but what history doesn't repeat, but it sure as heck rhymes. And so does my music. So you guys, thanks again for joining. I love talking about this stuff, and again, please support it. So I mean, I don't know, even if you don't support it, we'll probably come back and talk about it again. Obviously, we love it. And like I said, it's going to be insane when all this is no longer like speculation and actually things start to happen. These mergers are announced. The businesses do pay off their debt. I don't know, all this unpredictable stuff happens. I mean, it's going to be like fascinating and cool. And not only will it be cool for like the share prices, but also it'll be cool for reality, because these companies are going to actually start being awesome and doing great things and like raising customer service, raising the quality, like raising the standards, which I just think is going to have these amazing ripple effects and make like literally life better. Like that's why I'm in it, and that's why I love it so much, just because it stands for like better life and making things amazing. And like all this less like crime and collusion and freaking like the stock market's freaking like a lie and all this stupid BS. You're like, get me out of here. Let's make the world awesome like we're told it is. So, okay. I'm going to get this sharing. I'm like, I don't want this screen to be all big on me. That's also part of why I was like, stalling, because I'm like, oh my God, I do not want to be like just my face here. Okay. I'm going to play this for you guys. And I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for spending time with me and Devin and yourself. Good job. And now I'm a teacher. I'm like, good job learning. But you guys know I am a teacher. Good job learning. Sign up for my classes. Just kidding. Yeah, good job, you guys, paying attention to this, because it's fascinating. And the more you learn about it, it's like learning a new language. The more you learn about it, the more you start to understand it. And then you're like, what? It's kind of frustrating, but then we can change it. Duh. All right. I'm going to get off of here and give you guys some jams as we say goodbye. What's that song? It's just good night. It's not goodbye. I used to go to summer camp and they'd always say, like, it's not goodbye. It's just good night. Okay, so that's you guys. I'll see you again. And thank you. Let's go. Don't you know the GameStop shutting down the lame bots can't even hold a fact-based argument? Don't you know the GameStops when we're reading lots and lots, trying to figure out what dockets meant? In the bankruptcy, yeah, it just didn't seem like we'd be screwed. So you know what to do. Just go and read DB, cause tomorrow we'll see some true unwavering conviction come through. Yeah.
Can't stop till they're in trouble. Inflating, diluting, ashamed, outdated and playing. They're playing a crooked game, but that bubble, it must pop, 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 and your game stop. Let it don't build back on top as we boom our business to the top. Pop, pop.
Ooh, that's a bubble. Fools can't stop till they're in trouble. Inflating, diluting, ashamed, outdated. They're playing a crooked game, the past gated.
But that bubble, it must pop, 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 and your game stop. Let it pupil back on top, 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 as we boom our business to the top. Pop, pop.
The stock price doesn't reflect the fundamentals. Their fundamentals justify the price. Short interest is manageable, retail sentiment waning. No evidence of manipulation. Tits are a normal market function. Meme stocks rally fizzles, ranked by top market makers. Liquidity concerns overblown. Naked shorts constantly deny. They'll settle eventually. Dark pools provide liquidity. Retail investor interest delayed. This stock doesn't trade like it used to. Trading curbs prevent overreaction. Market structure is misunderstood. Stock volatility unrelated to news. Retail sentiment will recover. Options expiration behind recent bounce. No irregular options activity found in audits. Short interest is manageable. 200 FTDs not indicative of pressure.
Share price divorced from fundamentals.
No real sentiment has changed. No real catalyst behind this move. These traders are just going on intuition. Whales might be accumulating at these levels. There are a lot of open point, not manipulation. Liquidity conditions remain unresolved. Retail is playing a losing game. Retail steps in again for now. Price action looks a lot like 21. The stock is moving like it did years ago. Sentiment is hard to gauge in this cycle. Clearly inflated, but is it sustainable? Retail abandoned during downturns. This would have happened anyway. Unusual optimism not yet explained. The price doesn't match the volume. Sudden surge in short covering. Volatility returns as SPY cools. Meme stock run was short-lived. Meme stock after a big earnings beat. Meme stock rally was overblown. Wall Street skeptical of rally. The company raises after winning court case. Meme stock is back again. Retail tracker blew up overnight. The stock is driven by online buzz. The stock is down 80%, but some still hold. Meme stock jumps 38% in pre-market. Retail fails to deliver again. Analysts cut target by 40%. Retail will capitulate. The stock jumped 16% after online buzz. Retail traders add more fuel to the fire.
Shorts are far more sophisticated.
Meme stock investors misled by influencers. This could be the last short squeeze. Why the meme stock rally is different this time. Cautionary tale for the investing world. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Stockholding, share owning, share and care with shares financially. You're a share owner, stockholder. Money represents what you wanna see. Let's talk a little bit about the stock market. Learn to play this game. Been there before. 'Cause you wanna talk the talk, wanna talk about the stock. Invest efficiently. You bought a stock, a share you like a lot. You believe in the future of this company. Woo! Stockholding, share owning, share and care with shares financially. You're a share owner, stockholder. Money represents what you wanna see.
Jump in,
Are you willing to lose?
game begins.
The price you choose,
Money in,
wait and see. Keep score of what your trades can be. Money goes in, buy a share. That's a trade. Money goes out, sell a share. That's a trade. Stockholders, share owning, share and care with shares financially. You're a share owner, stockholder. Money represents what you wanna see. which is great. Quarterly reports are your new best friends. 4 times a year, sharing information. Cut costs, things can change and rearrange, and prices won't always stay the same. Stockholder, shareholder, goodness gracious, beholder. She's holding money in company she believes he's shareholding. Stock owning, goodness gracious, behold him. He's using money to fund the value. Stockholder, shareholder, goodness gracious, beholder. She's holding money in company she believes he's shareholding. Stock owning, goodness gracious, behold him. He's using money to fund the value.
Yo! Yeah, yeah. Everybody! Hey, 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 everybody! Yo, yo, hey! History don't repeat, but it surely rhymes. Market makers tried to cheat, but we saw their crimes. Media says we're crazy, but we got the time to do research and witness we do it fine. Cause we are redefining our understanding. Waiting for MOASS, it's so demanding. Yeah, the choices is yours, what are you gonna do? Sit and watch the world crumble or make your dreams come true. Yeah, make your dreams come true. Yeah, we've got an opportunity, a chance to show that we learned even more than we ever thought we know. Holding those accountable, never letting go. Not selling our shares and it's starting to show. As the cracks are crumbling, cards are tumbling. Yeah, it's time to talk, you will see it here this Tuesday, just 2 days from this post. Oh, the path is clear, the resolution is near. No calculating, not from my side. Both short out of options to run and hide. For much longer, stronger than we've been before. We've learned so much, and we're talking for sure. Yeah, we're talking it out. Oh, Devin and me will be live streaming here. So where will you be? Hopefully tuning in, join us to have fun. Cause the great time is now before it's run. Devin is a genius, I'm alright. And I'm telling you now, this talk is gonna be tight. He is super smart, facts and charts, breaking down the facts. It's understanding why the mainstream attacks us. AMC and GameStop are fascinating indeed. So get ready to watch, and you're gonna be pleased. See you there! Yeah, we're talking it out. Yeah, we're talking it out. History don't repeat, but it surely rhymes. Market makers try to cheat, but we saw their crimes. History don't repeat, but it surely rhymes. 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 History don't repeat. 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 History don't repeat.